just about 1 minute. 1 minute till we start. All right. Hello. Welcome back. Wait a minute. Wait. Hold. There we go. Hello and welcome back to CPL Season 7. It has been a while, but I have returned. And now I'm not just a caster, I am a casting coordinator. Of course, as usual, my name is Cold Warpgates. Today, I'll be bringing you games from two groups in the preseason week 1, as you can see on the screen. We have Group 30 and Group 31. Hold on a minute. That is not the correct group of players on the right side. That is from that is from something else entirely. That's not right either. Hold on just a minute. You can tell how well prepared I am. Fantastic. This is a good start. So anyway, of course, these are the preseason games, which means they're going to be used to determine placement in the tiers. But it's really not all that stressful. I can tell you it's stressful if you screw up the overlay, though. That feels bad. It feels bad right now. I really wanted to be in the games by now. I think CPL has more players than we've ever had before, so that's pretty cool. We already have that one. Okay. There we go. Now we have the right names on the screen. Isn't that exciting? We'll pretend that never happened. We are going to move past that and jump into the first game from Group 30. So let's get into that. All right, in the top right, we have the Purple Zerg IRK's Camo Daz. I'm still not sure if it's Camo Daz or Camo DS. We'll go with Camo Daz. In the bottom right, the Brown Protoss Naklar. Now, all of the games from week 1 are going to be on the map Polypoid that you see here. It's really becoming the standard map, I think. I think a lot of us are hoping that it will finally put the stake in the heart of fighting spirit and save us from that. By the way, thank you for following Shimmer45Rev. It is pretty standard. It still has some unique features. I have to admit, I'm a bit out of the loop on the meta. If I'm being honest, I took kind of a break between seasons. I have heard that there's some problems in this matchup on this map, so maybe we'll see some of that. I kind of have problems with this matchup in general, so I don't know if I can really blame it on the map or not. Let's see here. It looks like Naklar is going to be going for a Forge Expand and going for the really good strategy of scouting your opponent first. Getting that luck strategy is really good, whereas poor Camo Daz over here has sent the Overlord in the wrong direction. But looks like this should be okay. Camo Daz is getting an Overpool, and I'm sure we're about to see a Forge go down right here. Yes. So this is a very standard setup from both players. Last season, we saw a lot of Gateway Expand from Protoss in this matchup. I know we've seen some things like pros are going gateway expand and not scouting, which to me sounds insane. But we still have a lot of people relying on the old reliable forage expand. It's definitely not obsolete by any means. Naklar trying to think about blocking the hatchery down here, but Kamades is just destroying that probe. Doing a really good job blocking the probe and killing it, and then just easily setting up the hatchery. And this is nice. Kamades got like the read on how fast that probe got there and knew that it had to be this position. So that's pretty nice on their part. Looks like this Nexus has gone down, followed by a cannon. Of course, you can do this once you see that the Zerg has gone overpool. Sometimes you have to get that cannon or even 2 cannons before you put the Nexus down, but with only 2 links coming out, it's more than safe. Of course, losing that probe is going to hurt. There's so much stuff that Zerg can do that Protoss has to react to. And it looks like Naklar knows that. They're going to send this second probe back. Hopefully, you can keep this one alive just a bit longer. You know, do you want to see, do we see a Hydra Den? Do we see a lair? Possibly what lair tech are we going to see? If you can keep the probe alive that long, that's nice. Kamades getting this third. Over here at the gas location, I feel like you normally see it here or here. Of course, Zerg can kind of just do whatever they want, to be honest, when it comes to these locations. It just has some consequences for what we see later in the game. Back at home, Naklar is teching up. The Nexus has finished. Probes are transferring over. This probe is coming home. Looks like that might have been a mistake because now it's coming back. Sadly, the ramp is blocked, so Naklar will not be able to scout the main of the Zerg. No 3 hatch Hydra this time. We have a pretty quick layer coming up. Let's see what kind of choice Kamades makes. The probe just turn around at the ramp. Nice reaction from Naklar. Is going to keep it safe from these links. His link speed just started, so this probe is going to have a little bit longer to live in this world. Looks like it's searching for possible third base locations, but it might look over this one. Oh, it's going to turn around before even checking this base here. I feel like if you know that the main is blocked, you should probably go check for third base locations. Like, maybe if it was a 3 hatch Hydra, he would see Hydras spawn out of these larvae. But the probe does go down. Link speed's about to finish anyway, so that probe's time on this Earth was quite limited. We have +1 starting really quickly here. Stargate almost done. No +1 air yet. I kind of like to start that by default and then cancel it if I'm not going to need it. But there's lots of little trade-offs you can make. We do have the Spire started as soon as that layer finished. If we are going to see Mutas, oh shit, hold on a minute, forget about Mutas because we have Lings running past the one Zealot in the choke, killing the cannon, killing the Zealot. This is really unfortunate. This is every Protoss's nightmare. I think one of my preseason games went like this, to be honest. This is going to really hurt. This next Zealot, it seems like it was not started like just after the first Zealot popped. And it's going to take a long time for that to get up, if at all. We do have a Corsair killing the Scouting Overlord. I think it's a trade the Zerg would make every time, though. Kamades deciding to focus down the Forge. The +1 attack does get canceled. I think this cannon is probably going to get up. Looks like Kamades did not really back up this attack, instead deciding to just keep running, getting a bunch of Overlords because they don't want to get blocked when the Spire finishes. But with only 1 gas, I'm sure we're just going to see some Scourge come out. The Forge is going to be rebuilt. I feel like we really need to have a probe in this gap. Okay, here we go. We have more links coming. I think as long as this probe is on hold position, it should be okay. This cannon can reach here. I'm not sure if it can reach here, which can be really annoying. Oh yeah, this is, oh man. This feels bad. Here we go. Finally, the Zealots. We got 2 Zealots much better at walling off. Probably going to see another cannon here, I would imagine. We want to see this a +1 started, and I think if you lose your forge, you should just get a second one, like get 2, and then get the +1 attack and armor at the same time. Those upgrades are so important for Protoss here. Well, I was looking for Scourge, and we found them. The Corsairs went down. We are seeing the Hydras start to pop up. Resetting this Corsair count is so big for Zerg. They get so much breathing room. If Protoss decides to rebuild it, it's just more gas sunk into these air units that won't help versus the Hydras. You really want to get that tech up. You really want to get Storm and some Templar before these Hydras get out of control. So having to rebuild Corsairs really sucks. So far, this has gone really well for a Camo Des. Not just because of that Ling run by. It's doing a very good job doing this very standard build here. Avoid Stargate and go straight into Goon Templar, asks Shimmer. I mean, there's some stuff where you go for Goons early, but like Speed Zealots are really good, and that's just like the standard option, especially if you skip Stargate. Like if you're skipping Stargate entirely, you're going to go for Speed Zealots. And even if you want to go Goon Templar, like you want at least 12 Zealots to kind of body block for you. But you are going to need those Goons if Lurkers come out. Which I can imagine they are, because why else? Like, what else are you going to do as Zerg? There are some builds where you don't get Lurkers and you just go Mass Hydra. Here we go. We do have this Zealot speed attack, just a little bit delayed by all the chaos. The +1 is probably like 20 seconds away, so it might kick in by the time a fight starts. We actually don't have all that many Hydras here. With the +1, I would say the Zealots take this fight comfortably. They might take it anyway. This is good. We don't have Hydra speed done yet. Maybe? I don't even remember. The Hydras are running back to the Sunks. It looks like Protoss is just going to get a few kills and then run away, which honestly, if your push is delayed till like 9 minutes, I think that's pretty good for Protoss. You keep these Zealots alive for later. You can tell that Zerg actually hasn't powered super hard. Otherwise, they'd have a million Hydras and you'd be dead. So Protoss might be feeling a bit better now. We do have these Templar. I have been told that unless you're in extreme circumstances, you should build Templar, but not leave your home with them until you have Goons. Because it's so easy for Hydra just to run in and snipe them. Let's see if we can see some 6 Storms. The amount of Hydras is going to get a little bit scary to handle with just Zealots, though. Oh, okay, here we go. We do have Goons popping up. Looks like there might not even be a push. It might just be to take a somewhat early third base here, which is not bad. In these spawns, this high ground here makes this mineral only very defendable. And Protoss really wants to get this third base up. It's such a pain point in this matchup. And it looks like Kemwaz's Star Sense has triggered these Hydras to come in. Are we going to see some sick Storms? Is Storm been researched? Here we go. All right, nice Storm over here. This Templar is getting a little bit brave. Another Storm on this clump. There's a lot of Hydras left over, though. No more mana for Storms. There's way too many Hydras. This third base is going to get shut down. These Templars should be running away. Corsairs stupidly diving into Overlords. I hate when they do that. So we don't have any kind of reinforcements yet out of Protoss. Taking too long to build out of these gateways. Hydras are going to take down this forge again. Major feels bad. There we go. Nice Storms. 2 really good Storms. A bit of a consolation prize after losing that third. But I'm still worried. You need like at least 3 cannons when there are Hydras on the map. And when there's this many, and you're relying on just cannons, you're going to need more. So I'm really worried here if Kamodaz pushes the attack. I think Naklar is going to be out of this game. Yeah, here we go. I like when you're building cannons and there's Zerg units on the screen. That feels bad. I swear, like cannons warp in half as fast if there's a Zerg unit within a certain radius. The boys have been pulled. They're getting mowed down by Hydras. I think Camodez has taken this game with a very solid, very standard ZVP build and a lucky Ling run by. Trying to get energy on this Templar. It's just like a one last clutch storm. Zealots going up and down the ramp. This one heroic probe wants to fight too. I would just stay here. Just Hydra's cleaning up. I swear there's when you're in this kind of position as Protoss, or really like as any race, like you get these very brief moments of hope where like you start to win the fight and then the next wave of reinforcements shows up and you get crushed. Like that's way worse than just losing the game outright. Uh, for your mental like your mental stability, I guess, your mood. All right, Naklar does tap out, and Camodaz wins the first game. I feel like that pun was terrible, and you should be proud. I forgot to mention it while I was distracted by my failure to set up the overlay. I only got 5 games from Group 30, and so we're only going to cast those 5. Group 31, I got way more games, so it was too much. So I think we're casting like 6 games from that group. So hopefully I didn't like arbitrarily pick the more epic ones not to cast. And I forgot to give a shout out to State Zero, who got me the replays, which I always appreciate. But anyway, we're going to get into our next game here, which is a ZVZ, which is always exciting. We have the return of Camodaz, and we have Saint, who I think is a new player to CPL. All right. In the top right of Polyploid, in the kind of grayish green color, the Zerg player Saint. And down here, winning the last game, IRK Camodaz in the purple Zerg. So ZVZ, one of the most infamous matchups. I think people hate TVT more, but this is definitely a close second. Honestly, I like the mirror matchups. I don't really get all the hate for them. So I even like to see a ZVZ. I wouldn't want to cast like a whole tournament of ZVZ, but I like getting a game or two in there. And it's funny to me, like, if you listen to the reasons that people complain about. Hold on, are we not? Do you guys not have game sound right now? Is there no game sound? Why is there no desktop audio? Has there never been game sound? Oh no. Why is this happening? Hey, Josino. Well, that's unfortunate. I can't understand why there would be no desktop audio. Uh, Well, as long as you can hear me, I guess that's the. No, I can hear the sound on my computer, and it's not muted in OBS. What is going on? There's sound now. Is it just very quiet? Like, it's just very low because the little slider isn't moving on mine. That's really weird. I don't know why this is happening. Well, that's fun. What? We will fix it after this game, maybe, hopefully. Let's see what's going on. Looks like we have some kind of speed build, probably 9-pull speed coming out of a Camo Des. Or maybe this is 9-pull speed and this is like some other build. That's not 9-pull speed. This is some other. There's like gas hatch pool or something. Look, I'm not a Zook player, okay? Or probably gas pool hatch. So this is going to pay off for Camo Des if they can survive the first wave or so of speed links, and that's not an easy task. Can I please voice the Zerg units for us until the sounds are fixed? Not now that you've put pressure on me. If I could, like, if I just thought of it myself, I think I could do it. But now that you've put that expectation on me, I think I would not be able to do it. We have 4 links here on the ramp. Not really in an arc, though, for Camo Des. But the units of Saint can't figure out how to path up the ramp. There we go. We have a small concave. Here we go. 4v1 on the ramp. Speed about to kick in for Saint. And, like, you wouldn't think that speed would be a big difference in melee versus melee, but it absolutely is. I could do the Overlord. That's about it. The I don't want to go any farther than that, though. So Camo Des is starting to get this creep colony up. If they can get it up, that's gonna be really good. It's gonna be really good for the defense here. Saint kind of getting a bit screwed by the cross positions, but they have gotten their lair. Oh, and so is Camo Des. So both players kind of on even tech. It seems like Camo Des even gets their Spire up faster while killing a few links. So Camo Des really good, keeping up that multitasking as the game builds. The Spire timing is huge. Do we not? Wow, the Spire has not even started yet for Saint. Looks like they're focusing on getting their own expansion up, which they've canceled now that these speed links from Camo Des are on the attack. So this is looking really good for the Purple Zerg. Oh no, and they're in the mineral line. There's not even that many links alive here for Saint. One drone goes down. Super critical. Actually, look, Camo Des is up 5 drones. They have 50% extra drones. They're picking off these lings one by one. All these drones have to run. This is really bad for Saint. This is not what's supposed to happen when you go for the more aggressive build. And there you go. Camo Des wins 2 games in a row. What a god. Oh no. Okay, so why is the desktop audio not picking up any sound? Like it. What? I've never seen this. Like I can hear the audio. What? Hold on. Well, it's not a source in the scene, it's in the mixer. So it's like it's like the most built-in thing. Oh, you're right, because I'm playing on a laptop. I forgot. I mean, technically, isn't any computer a laptop if you try hard enough? I don't want to like bring the stream down to reboot OBS, but maybe that's the right move. What in the world? Why? All right. I'm gonna Google this really quick, see if it's an easy fix. Oh, I bet it's like Discord screwed up the device settings or something. How do I do that? Aha! Do I have anything now? No. Do you have game? Do you hear the game soundtrack right now? All right. I don't know what happened there, but it seems to be working correctly. So we're gonna move on to our next game, which is going to be Javier versus Camodaz. We have Camodaz a third time. Camodaz is going to get a workout in every matchup. We have a TVZ here. Oop, I gotta go into the game. That's important. Alright, in the top right, the white Terran player, Javier, who again I think is a new player to CPL, which is really hype. I know Camodaz has been around for a long time, and he's here in the top left as the purple Zerg. So, this matchup, it's very much like, can the Terran do enough damage to the Zerg most of the time? You know, of course, the Zerg isn't totally passive the whole time. You know, they have mutas try to buy time, keep the Terran bio in their base. I remember that 2-hatch muta was getting really popular, which is all about getting those quick mutas, trying to do damage to the Terran, so they have to stay in their base. We'll have to see if Camodaz goes for that, goes for the more macro-oriented 3-hatch, which is more defensive. Or maybe goes for the CPL special of the 2 or 3-hatch lurker, which we see a lot, which is always exciting. Now Javier, I've never seen them play before. They have almost 500 APM, and as we all know, your APM in the first minute or two of the game is the #1 determining factor to your win rate. Luckily for Camodaz, they have scouted in the correct direction this time with the Overlord. Oh, you know what I can do? If I'm like, sometimes I'm not sure of the gender of the players, even though like it's an online video game, so you know it's like 90% dudes. But we do have lots of not dudes in CPL, and now we have a thing that they can write that down at somewhere. Do we have Camodaz on there? I think I could just safely call Camodaz he. Let's do it. Anyway, more importantly, what is going on in this game? Looks like a very standard hatchery first from the Zerg player. The SCV is going to scout it last, which is a major feels bad moment. Looks like we might even have a second SCV going out to scout here. And this can be kind of important. Sort of what the Terran wants to do by default is if they scout this hatchery first, get their own command center on 15. But if you don't scout that first, you get the depot, and then you put the command center down at 18, which is a little bit safer and a little bit less economic for you, but still completely fine. Actually, don't see that here. Right. You have a pretty quick layer here from Camodaz, which is the norm. Now, sometimes we do see like mech builds from Terran in the CPL. Well, 2 seasons ago, the Goliath build was really popular, but it seems to have fallen off. Seems like Zerg figured out how to hold that off. So we're back to the tried and true bio. Finally, this SUV is going to find the Zerg player 4 minutes into the game. You know, there's a lot of stuff that Zerg could have done in that time, but it seems like they decided to play normal. This is going to get in the main, see the lair, maybe not have an exact read on what the time on that lair is, but we'll probably even see it pop soon. Oh, looks like these Lings got the SCV on the command center, which is going to delay it by like 10 seconds. That's really annoying. For like 1 or 2 Lings, I think that's totally worth it. We do have the Spire popping up, but Camodez puts it in the natural. I don't think the SCV has seen it just yet. Looks like... Oh, are they not going to see it? Alright. It is still definitely in range now. That's one thing that Terran can cross off their list of builds they have to check, they have to prepare for. Now they know it's a Spire. Gonna get those turrets. So we've seen that it's 2 Hatch, and my understanding is that the normal response to that is 2 Racks Academy, but I only see 1 Barracks and an E-base. So I think maybe this is going to go into 5 Racks plus 1. I think that's how that works, which is usually the response more to 3 Hatch Muta, because you have more time until the Mutas get to your base. So you can afford to get those upgrades earlier and then eventually have more Marines, whereas 2 Racks Academy gets the Marines quicker, which is pretty important when they rush to 2 Hatch Muta. So this could be pretty scary for Terran. We do see this really fast third for Zerg, like 5 minutes into the game. I don't know what Camodez saw that made them feel safe about this. Maybe they just counted the Marines and realized there weren't that many. And that is a big deal. If this expansion gets up, this gas is so useful for Zerg. Lurkers, Hive Tech, Defilers, Ultras, everything. It's so much gas. We don't even have all that many Mutas coming out. So we might see Camodez try to get to Hive like really quickly. Here we go. We do have more barracks coming out. Looks like it is the somewhat older 5 Rex plus 1 style. And with not that many Mutas coming out, this could pay off for Javier here. Just needs to get this turret up. Oh man, this turret is like 20 seconds too late. It's not defended by the other turret. So these Mutas are going to have a chance to do a lot of damage in here. Get some decent micro here, picking off a few Marines. There's just not that many of them alive. There might even be... Yeah, there's just barely... There are actually now 6 Marines and 6 Mutas here. Just not looking too good for the Terran. Have to keep these barracks protected. Don't want to get the Marines picked off as they spawn, but taking a lot of damage here. Does get 1 Muta, which is big, but losing more and more Marines. Trying to get these turrets up. Trying to finish that barracks. This is going really well for Zerg overall. They are very bruised. We're seeing +1 attack coming. Oh, here we go. We have way more Mutas. I was thinking why you could get that upgrade if you had so many Mutas, or so few Mutas. It looks like we are going to get Hydras rather than go like straight to Hive, just to get those lurkers up. This third base is already starting to get mined from. We have 3 drones popping out and more being transferred. Camodez feeling very confident here. About to pass the Terran in worker count, which is a really scary position for Terran to be in. One thing about this third base is that there's 2 ramps, which makes it that much harder to cover with lurkers. Like, ideally you'd want like this base, or you want this base or something, and just have lurkers here. So you kind of need like double the lurkers to cover it, or you have lurkers here, which makes them a little less effective because they aren't fighting into a choke. But as I'm saying that, we might not ever get to that point. Like, these Mutas might just cut down all of the Marines, or keep the Terran in their base forever. Looks like mining has been completely shut down at the natural. We have lurker aspect on the way. If a Terran attack ever does come out, it'll be absolutely crushed. This is really unfortunate for Javier. Looks like +1 attack is finished and +1 armor is on the way. We only got up to 4 barracks, which could honestly just be the normal way to do this build. I'm not a Terran player. Who knows? I don't understand their extremely big brain builds here. Another Muta does go down. The rest are all pretty bruised up. So maybe Javier has managed to hold off. I mean, they lost mining, but the Marines stopped dying for a while. And the Marine balls get out of control really fast. And Kemodez's micro has been pretty good, but not impeccable. Now they're kind of getting surrounded here. Losing another Muta for free is getting a little bit scary. We saw the lurker aspect is done. We have 3 lurkers in production. Can they get up in time? I don't. It doesn't seem like Javier is going that aggressively. This one Hydra's out of position. Is going to morph into a lurker, but even with the 10 armor of a lurker egg, there's so many Marines here. It's going to get picked off. Are we going to see a cancel? It's going to be Max Kosu. No. So that gas is going to be lost, but honestly, the time you buy with it might be good. Does Terran know about this third base? Because there's no lurkers here. We do have, like, yeah, we have 1, okay, we have 3, and some Hydras. Now, this Queen's Nest should not be here. I think this is just a case of Kemodez, like, they were looking at this base and they knew they needed a Queen's Nest, so they built it here. But putting it here, if it dies before the hive is started, that could be pretty bad. That would set Zerg back a lot of time and gas. I know we saw... Okay, we saw the Terran scan. They did scan that third base. The lurkers are up just in time. And... let's see here. Oh, that's nice. Lurker getting them from the high ground. The Queen's Nest is done. We don't see the hive start yet. You really want to get that started as soon as possible. Oh no, we have a second Queen's Nest. I think Kemodez didn't realize that he built this nest here. It's going to delay the hive by a considerable amount of time and waste the 200 minerals and 200 gas. And when Terran is on your doorstep, you don't want to waste that much stuff. Of course, now we have a bazillion lurkers being built. And even without Sunken or Defiler support, Bio is not going to clear that effectively. So this natural is definitely safe. The third, maybe a bit more precarious. But we have like 5 lurkers here. Terran is going to have to get those science vessels out. We do see the 2 starports. Do we see a science facility? Not yet. I'm sure one is going to come on the way. We have a pretty quick third base for Terran. Normally Terran can just sit on 2 bases for a long time. There you go. Big lurker spines. We saw an Overlord or 2 die, I guess, because Kemodez is supply blocked. Well, these lurkers being really aggressive, finding the third base in production. It gets canceled instantly. This is looking better and better for Zerg. It was a little bit scary there before all the lurkers morphed. Now the world is their playground. Nope, another free Muta gets picked off, but look at this. We have all these lurkers here. We have these Evo chambers. We have the hive almost done. We actually have 2 Queen's Nests. You can get all those really critical Queen upgrades. Like Metasynaptic Node. And Parasite. Really important. The vessels are starting to come out and irradiate. That is going to kind of put a clock on how long these lurkers make the Zerg invincible, especially if they dive into big concaves of Marines. So we definitely want to see the Defilers come out before the vessels get online, and we do have the Mount almost done. Kemodez is getting all 3 ground unit upgrades, which you don't normally see. You normally just see the range attack get skipped and a focus on Carapace with some melee upgrades, but when you have this much money, I think it's fine to get some upgrades. Well, we have vessels being queued because Terran basically doesn't spend gas. We only have 1 guy in the natural gas. Alright, we do have a pretty sizable bioball here. 1 vessel with... It's going to have the energy for 1 irradiate. So 1 really be able to clear out all these lurkers, but the detection is not insignificant. The lurkers aren't really set up like an ideal concave, like especially like this one, you know, could get picked off. This one in the back was irradiated, which is a really nice choice by Terran. Here we go. We're just going to throw more lurkers at the problem. So many spikes. Nigerian does have the armor upgrade, which means it actually takes 3 lurker shots rather than 2 to kill a Marine, which is huge. Which I think is probably the only reason we have any Marines surviving that attack there. And that very critical consume upgrade is almost done for Defilers. We have 2. They are eating those links to get mana. We don't have the vessels to kill them just yet. I thought we had some more in production. There we go. There's 1 irradiate. So maybe if Terrans are really fast on it, they can kill those Defilers before Swarm goes down. But the irradiate takes long enough to kill that if Kami does is fast, you can just put down Dark Swarms as the Defilers die. I like Ball says it's not a lurker field, it's a lurker country. I like that. Look at this. Defiler's being really brave. Here we go, Dark Swarming these very forward lurkers. Thought we might see a plague, but I don't think Plague's been researched yet. Now that Dark Swarm is ambitious. Marines just casually walk away. Lurkers don't even burrow in the swarm, and one of the Defilers gets irradiated, and it will go down with 100 mana, no less. And this is the kind of move that's really dangerous for Zerg, because like if this attack gets wiped out, what do we have back at home? We have a couple Hydras, a couple Lings, and 1 Lurker. We don't even see more Defilers yet. We see the Ultralisk Cavern, but I think Defilers is what you need to stay alive. And yet, there we go. The remaining Defiler gets irradiated, and this is going to make Terran feel pretty confident. If they can reveal that all that Zerg has are these Lings, they might have the Adrenal upgrade, but by themselves with no Defiler support, they're just going to get mowed out, like we see here. Hydra's killing a Science Vessel. You don't see that very often. Some spiny boys here. Down here in the bottom left, Zerg is getting a 4th base. Terran doesn't even seem to be thinking about that part of the map, so they can get off. They can be even more gas. I think maybe Kamidaz is like saving up for a big wave of Ultras, maybe, but spending all their larvae on Lings, which I don't like. So here, I feel like if Terran had a map hack, they would attack right now, which I guess we know is how we know Javier is being honest, because they're not. Here we go, flying in a vessel, irradiating another Defiler, keeping the vessel alive, getting that free value there. Oh, there's another Defiler. Is he gonna get nuked? It does get microwaved. And, let's see, is Javier going to take advantage of this, though? He keeps just killing these Defilers in the middle, but I feel like if you kill a bunch of Defilers, you should know that Zerg is going to be vulnerable. Here we go, using more radiates on these Lurkers. I understand being careful about attacking into these Lurker fields, especially with the remaining Dark Swarms. Got a little bit of a run-by here from these Lings, but unfortunately the reinforcements in the bunker clean them up. Okay, never mind. This is a lot of Lings coming. I don't know if it's enough, but it is going to be significant. Depends on how close this reinforcement army is. The bunker does go down. Looks like the Terran isn't sure what they want to do. Some groups are going home, some groups are going towards the base. Cracklings are really dumb. Let me tell you, as a Protoss player, if you get Cracklings in your base and you don't stop them in like 20 seconds, you just lose the game. Not that many barracks still. I think you could definitely have, yeah, I mean, obviously with the 2,000 minerals, you could definitely have more barracks as Terran. Get those waves of reinforcements out. Let's see, getting into sort of a base trade here, but the Terran army is much more significant in the Zerg base here. Like, these Lings will die to reinforcing Marines eventually, and the command center could lift off. Seems like all their attention is over here in this base. The 2 Defilers get popped as soon as they spawn, and now Kamudaz is in a lot of trouble, and Natural is erased in a matter of seconds. All of the tech is in the main except for the backup Queen's Nest. But I think we're about to have Zerg reduced to these 2 bases in the lower left corner of the map, and there we go. The A command center is not saved, but the ramp is walled off with 4 fire bats and a medic. So the damage is sort of stopped for Terran, but Zerg is going to keep leading here. One more Defiler here, but it does get irradiated. This random corner of the map is Darkswarmed. I guess these tech buildings, or no, buildings are not protected by Darkswarm, which is not something I knew until like last year. Which is interesting. Will the armor upgrade finish? No. Not that we're going to see any ultras anyway, and I think actually Terran has pulled off this game. I feel like that run by from Akamodaz here in the natural, which I guess is still going on at the third, actually might have done more damage to the Zerg because it like mentally triggered the Terran to go in for the attack, which ended up paying off here. The hive is brought down. All we have left is this fortress here and this new base down here in the lower left. The Lings keep trying to run by, but we have a lot of reinforcements here. This command center was lifted off. Very nice. Kevin's trying to get damage done with these Lings. This is like me whenever I play Team Melee with a Zerg player. Like, I can't really play a Zerg, but I can take Lings and try to put them in annoying places on the map. Here we go. The high value unused refinery and 2 depots. Are they going to get a depot? Yes. Well, they're going to get 2. I mean, 4 Lings cost 100 minerals. 2 depots is 200 minerals. Like, there you go. Think of that value. Oh, and we buy time for these Lings coming here. Focus the command center. It's like both players have forgotten that liftoff exists. Are they going to get the command center? No, the fire bat comes in. There we go. And the command center lifts with less than 200 health left. Even if that command center did go down, I feel like Terran would still be okay, because Terran's dumb and they can one base forever, pretty much. I mean, if it really... Oh, is it? Oh, this command center at the third was actually lifted from the main, so maybe that command center that we saw here earlier did die. Or, hold on, no, this is the main command center. Okay. Now, Zerg does have their tech here. The funny thing is, like, even if you don't have a hive, if you have all of these hive buildings, you can still make hive units. You kind of don't need the hive anymore until you can start getting back into the upgrades. I don't see any defilers on the field. We are starting to get ultras. Their armor upgrade was denied at the last second. Soldiers are not nearly as beefy as they could be. Ooh, Scourge gets shot down before taking out vessels. The Iridia is going down on lurkers. This one ultralisk is really ambitious. He only has 2 armor right now, and the Marines, the Marines have +3 attack. So these Marines are going to absolutely chew through these ultras. Saw like 6 Scourge go down for 1 vessel there. Oh yeah, I do like this SCV carrying the gas. It's like carrying the keg for the party when they kill the Zerg. And of course, this happens to me with Dragoons all the time. You try to attack up the ramp, the first guys at the ramp stop and shoot, and everyone else in the back is like, how do I get up there? There we go. No, the backup Queen's Nest. Kamodez's plans have been foiled in the end. Lurkers over here cannot defend the mineral line. More drones go back. Oh, what happened here? Oh my god. We are down to a total of 10, 9. We're down to single-digit workers in the entire game. There's 1 SCV left. Oh my god, it's that one guy with the gas. He's the 1 SCV left in the game. The Terran base is under attack. I cannot believe this. There's 4 workers in this whole game. There's not enough here to stop the Zerg. I mean, all these Terran buildings could lift off. And I think Terran would win the base trade, like the base race. Oh yeah, here we go. Okay. The squad of Marines is here in the bottom left, so I think Terran is bound to win this. Here we go. The liftoff key is discovered. I don't know if I've ever seen a game in 23 minutes be reduced to 3 workers. Where's that SCV? Where'd he go? I can't find that one guy with the gas. Did he die in the middle of the fight? Did this SCV somewhere else? Oh yes, here he is. So that guy with the gas died. So 1 SCV is just standing still so all the ultras don't see him. And I think we're going to see Terran win this game. This is the last Zerg building? No, there's an extractor here, which is really funny. I think I've seen one other CPL game come down to an actual building elimination victory. Are we going to see that here? Or is Camodez going to tap out when they reduce to one extractor? Never seen Firebats kill the launcher cabin. One Marine kills the extractor. Is there... Oh. Camodez is rebuilding an extractor. Okay, this is just BM at this point. Like, there's actually no way you can win with this flying buildings. Maybe trying to force a draw, but these units can kill everything Zerg has on the map right now. And, like, if you're gonna build a cheeky extractor, don't build it right next to the Terran army. I mean, maybe you don't have enough time to go anywhere. They're killing all your buildings. But, you know, put it, like, back in your main or something. They won't want to check. Here we go. The last 3 ultras. Can they kill, like, 20 Marines? I don't think so. This guy's a boss. Rip Chad. Oh, the medic wall. Is this Boxer. Keeping the ultras off of the Marines. This one medic, super chill over here. Marines distracted by the extraction, killed the ultras. This is the last Zerg building. We did it. Technically, the victory condition in this game is to kill buildings. Camodez gets a GG up before the game kicks him out. And there we go. What a game. Reduced to 1 worker in the entire game. Camodez does finally lose the game in this group. Yeah, so most doctors take a vow to do no harm, but medics take a vow to feel no pain. Alright, looks like that's the end of Camodez here. The next 2 games are some of the other players. We're going to have Javier, who just barely won that game in another TVZ against Saint, whom we saw earlier. Nice for the players to remove most of the buildings before the Zamboni comes out between matches. I love it. In the top right, in the olive Zerg, it's Saint. And in the bottom left, it's Javier in the Black Terran. Do you think after last game, like, because all of his units were here, what? I was making a stupid joke, but why is there Chinese here? What on earth? I have never seen something like this before. Did they play on like a custom map or something? What? Does anybody know what this is? Like, I recognize like a couple words, but like, what? Like, some maps like will have like little messages pop up, like designed by Latias or whatever, but like, what? Dude, I have no idea. Time being up? Like, at... Oh, is it for like a LAN cafe? It thinks I'm at a LAN cafe and I'm out of time? Okay, this is where I'm outed and I've actually been pirating StarCraft for 20 years. Okay, well that's really funny. So we're gonna have this message up all game, I guess. Oh, no, it's gone. Okay, someone put a quarterback in. Anyway. Ooh, so normally Zerg goes Hatch first in this matchup, like 99 out of 100 games. We have Overpool from Saint. I don't know what that does for you. I know 9-pool speed is a thing. You hope the Terran's greedy and you kill them. Overpool is... I just don't know. It's standard versus Protoss. So I'm trying to think, like, is it going to be like a faster layer rather than speed? But like, are you getting like a 1-base layer or something? I don't know. I'm excited to see what we find out here. Well, looks very standard from Javier. I don't know, like, are you supposed to have your barracks all the way in the back? Like, I feel like you want your barracks here. That way they're between your main and the ramp. I don't know. I don't know Terran SimCity. we got this gas done. Yeah, no second hatchery in sight. So we got some kind of cheese coming out of here from Zerk. Any kind of one hatchery play, you know. We're about to see something really spicy. Is Javier going to have any idea? I mean, there's something that... I wonder if Javier is going to scout the natural, see it's empty, and then keep going. I have done that as Protoss. And I've had Zerg do that to me, like when I'm doing one-base stuff. They just scout the natural and then keep going. Looks like he was clicked to the corner, so he's smart enough. He's not going to fall for that. Lings run past the SCV, but speed is not started. Despite 200 gas, I feel like Saint's making a mistake here. Like, you can get a lair or speed at 100 gas. Get this hatchery start. Looks like the command center was canceled, so there's 100 minerals loss for Terran. I think they're going to be okay, though. So they have this bunker here. I feel like what you're supposed to do is actually put, like, 2 SCVs on the ramp and have the Marines behind them. The SCVs just line back for you. So we have speed started. No lair. So I just don't understand this build. If we saw a fast layer, like, I would I would be like, okay, we're going to get some tech. If it was, like, if it was 9 pull rather than over pull, like, I would understand that for the speed. But I just don't understand what the point of this build is. I mean, we got the cancel, we got this unnecessary bunker, we got 2 bunkers. So we're doing lots of, like, indirect damage to Terran, but I just don't know if it's worth it. And we're still mining gas with the 400 gas. I feel like this can only be a mistake. I love watching ZVZ where one of the Zergs is actually Terran. I love it. That's what we're seeing here. Hydra. So this is the overpool into expansion into Hydra build. And I think, well, okay. So I was about to say that I don't think Hydras are a good choice because Hydras are actually really bad at trying to bust bunkers. But we have a factory coming out, and Hydras are good against mech. So maybe Saint is just a god. Rip this bunker, though. It's too bad that Terrans won't invent recycling technology until StarCraft 2 comes out. Okay, we're seeing Hydra's speed. Do we see any Hydras? No, we see drones. I'm just completely lost. But I love it. This is exciting. We saw a very standard ZVT last game with, like, lots of macro and big army movement. In this game, we're seeing one base Terran against Hydras. Well, we saw some things get picked up by Marines. I think this expansion is going to be safe. I don't think Javier has any idea of the hydrogen. So we're going to... Okay, it's taken a bit to get to it. We're going to have 3-hatch Hydra in the wrong matchup. We still don't see any actual Hydras in production. So I don't know how good this Hydra push is going to be. We have 2 factories, nothing going out. Both players are just really confused by what's happened in this game so far. This is absolutely a real thing when you're in unknown territory in a game. Now, oh. Bunker got canceled. Must have been in the wrong place. So, Hydras deal explosive damage, and SCPs are small. So this means the Hydras do half damage to SCPs. And I don't have one on the screen to click on to demonstrate this, but they do 10 damage, so it gets half to 5, right? SCPs have 60 health. So it takes 12 Hydra shots to kill 1 SCV. So imagine how hard it is for Hydras to kill a bunker that's being mass repaired by SCVs. It's really bad. And then Hydras deal half damage to Marines anyway. Like, so it's pretty rough for Hydras to kill a bunker. You pretty much have to absolutely catch the Terran by surprise. So I don't know if I am too optimistic about the chances for these Hydras to get anything done. We do have mech, which is where Hydras do better. but not on the offense. Like, if we have siege tanks up, this Hydra Bust is never going to work. And I don't think it is going to be any kind of Hydra Bust. I think I just assumed incorrectly. Of course, I should have seen that it's going to be the 2 base, 4 hatcheries, double Evo Chamber Hydra build. Of course, how could I forget? I might even see the 3rd base soon. This is I've never seen a TVZ like this ever. This is great. You know, I love to see a really solid standard game, and I also love to see this. So Zerg is going to know what the Terran is doing. I don't think Terran has been in the Zerg base in a long time. I don't think they're going to expect this base. We are finally seeing Hydras come out. But even like pure like at this point that we have a Terran established going mech, you kind of want Hydras and Mutas in some mixture. Because if it's just Mutas, the Terran player, or if it's just Hydras, the Terran player just picks a bunch of tanks. And they get murdered. These vultures are not going to be able to harass anything. The natural. We don't have this base taken yet, which honestly isn't that abnormal. Like Zerg does this a lot. Like just put a drone out at a base and actually build a hatchery later, just so you kind of get past the blockade later. We have a very fast Queen's Nest. Now we saw that last game, and we saw 2 Queen's Nests. Maybe I'm going to assume this one is intentional. But what are you getting the high for? Okay, that was Terran. Terran sees this. If there's any Terran players in the chat, tell me what the hell you think and what you do when you see that in the Zerg main. What are we seeing here? We see 2 armories. Vulture speed. We see some token turrets here. We see comm sets up. So we're getting things to do with lurkers. Here we go. We have a squad of Hydras. I think Terran is going to feel safe. Oh yeah, 4 tanks, siege mode. Hydras are not going to get much done. But still get some map control. Catch these vultures. Ooh, looks like this vulture got the drone over here, which is going to be really annoying for Zerg. Let me tell you, as a Protoss player, having vultures killing your worker that is trying to expand feels awful. Oh god, what a meat grinder. Oh no, Hydras, please. Rip. So that's going to make Terran feel good. Starting to get mines out on the map, gonna get even more value versus these Hydralisks. And I think at this point it is solidly in the Terran favor. No 3rd base, no giant army or giant drone count for Zerg. We do have the Hive coming up. I don't know what Hive tech we're going to see. Defilers are really good against mech. Maybe Guardians, but like we would see a Spire. Ultras are meh against mech. So I'm going to assume it's Defilers. Guardians would be really cool, and I don't think Terran would expect it. There's basically no anti-air on the field. Like, you get Guardians, like, morph them right here, and then kill it natural. You could do a lot of damage with that, but, like, it's getting there. Especially now we see this mech army moving out. Terran players scouting potential 3rd bases, not finding them. Scouting the Zerg natural, seeing this relatively small army here. This is looking really good for Javier. Might win their 2nd game here. Their vehicle upgrades are on the way. Probably won't be done when this fight starts, but are they even necessary? I think we have +1 ranged. Oh, we do have 1/1 for Zerg. I don't know if you care about 1 armor when tanks are doing 75 damage or whatever it is to you. Bunch of mines set up. Actually, a little bit too close to the tanks. We had a shuttle with Zealots in it. Looks like Zealots are not nearly, or Lings are not nearly as smart at dealing with mines as Zealots are. Terran's shelling down this first wall. Gonna start leapfrogging these tanks in. I think Zerg is going to be feeling pretty bad here. We have an Ultralisk Cavern coming up. I don't think we're going to have time for that to get up. Even then, like, unupgraded Ultras against this high damage tank attack, not that great. Hydra's trying to dive in here, but tanks just turn them into, I don't know if it's sus. I couldn't think of a good metaphor. Yeah, oh my god. So, this is how all of my Protoss vs. Terran games go. Now Zerg gets to feel that pain. This Vulture. Look at that. Yeah, this is just turned into a Protoss vs. Terran where the Protoss is Zerg. Like, we have a Vulture running around putting mines at the base locations. We have all these mech units. We're even getting a starport in a science facility. Like, we're going to start getting vessels to deal with arbiters. Maybe Saint is actually a Protoss player. There we go. Saint with the extra mana. Javier wins one of the strangest games I've ever casted. We're going to get to our last game from this group. Never going to see a real PPT now that we understand it. It is Javier for the third game in a row. Can he get 3 wins against Naklar? He put us from our first game. See if we get that pop-up about my LAN cafe time running out. In the bottom right, the orange Terran player Javier has had quite a group. Some very interesting games. In the bottom left, it's Naklar. In the olive, Protoss. So I really have no expectations for what can happen in this game. At this point, we can see anything, and I'm hyped. Like, I don't know, scouts? I want to see proxy scouts. Maybe I should do proxy scouts at some point. Like, I feel like 1 out of 10 games, you could just crush the Terran's dreams with it. Now, Scabber's Wraith? Oh, scouts destroy Wraiths. As long as they aren't invisible. I do also, I feel like Terran should try it sometime. Like, a Cloaked Wraith Rush. Because you don't get the you're not gonna get observers in time to stop that, right? As Protoss in Terran matchup, you don't get cannons or observers that early. And then even if you get 1 observer, what if the Terran gets a scan and kills it with the Wraiths? I don't think it would work. It would win a lot, but I feel like it would win enough that it should be a cheese build that Terran does sometimes. Anyway, both players doing very standard builds so far in this game. There's not much to talk about until we see some major build order I guess indicators here. Everything is looking very normal. We're not going to see we're not going to see some kind of just bunker expand here. We're probably going to see a factory from Javier at least before he expands, unless he does some kind of cheesy 1-base build. Same thing from Protoss. This is very normal. Pretty much any build, you're going to get 1 Dragoon, and then do something else. Get 1 Dragoon and expand, get a few Dragoons and then expand. Oh, excuse me. Or get 1 Dragoon and then just do some kind of cheese. Now, it looks like Naklar is not scouting with a probe, which is something that I did for a long time. You just scout with the goon, because there's not that much that Terran does in the early game that you need to scout with a probe. Almost nobody does command center first. But the fact that, well, when I start talking about it, he does it immediately. But I was going to say that the fact that we didn't see this probe move out like after the core or after the gateway probably means it's not going to be some kind of cheese with a proxy building. Because if you want to guarantee you get the proxy up in time, you probably have to scout with the probe. So we went down to 1 probe in gas after starting range. I've seen going down to 2 probes, and I've seen going down to 0 probes. I've never... No, I haven't seen going down to 0 probes. I've seen going down to 2 probes. Never 1. I wonder if this is a particular build or just a thing that NACLAR has done here. Ooh, we killed the SCV. Started the Nexus, started a second gateway pretty fast. I think that might just be a defensive choice because we haven't scouted what the Terran is doing. But the Terran is just getting a factory expand, so that second gate isn't going to be necessary. You would need that if the Terran was going like 2 factor or something like that. Ideally you want to delay this gateway and get a robo instead, but I think it's a reasonable choice from NACLAR. You definitely want to get guys back in gas though. Like once you get the expansion down, put you guys back in gas. Back the 3 guys in gas for the robo, good stuff like that. We have siege mode coming up here from Javier, taking a very defensive stance, just like his opponent. So I think we're going to see a much longer game here. We have 2 goons moving out. They do have range. They are going to be able to put some damage on this bunker, maybe, but we have a tank on already. Siege mode is almost done, so I don't think we're going to see anything too extreme here. But they are going to keep Terran from scouting the Protoss again. You definitely want to get that robo started pretty soon here. As NACLAR. In this matchup, you really want to get an observer in the Terran base around 7 minutes or 7 minutes and 30 seconds, because that's where like all the Terran builds deviate. Like, are they going to go for a strong 2 base push? Are they going to get a drop? Are they going to go quick 3 bases? You're going to be able to tell that around the 7 minute mark. So that's really when you get that. It's really when you want to get that observer in there. And if that robo isn't started yet, I don't think NACLAR is going to hit that timing, but we're going up to 4 gateways. Are we going to see, like, the Artosis Nightmare gateway man on 2 bases? Okay, we go to the 3rd base. So this is just, like, major gateway man. Not even observers. We're just going to tank all of the mines with our face. Oh, here we go. I talked about it. And finally have the robo started. This is a pretty quick 3rd here from NACLAR, but it's going to be completely safe. We're only getting our 2nd factory at 6 minutes. Perhaps NACLAR read this from what he saw at the natural of Javier. Maybe it's just what he's going to do anyway. Both players like taking it very chill. I was after these last games, I was expecting like a DT drop, fast arbiter, something ridiculous. But just seeing some macro, some defensive builds. This observatory is late, but it seems like NACLAR has the correct read on his opponent anyway. Starting to add more factories. I think it's too late to go for like a 4-fac or 5-fac push, but I'm still gonna have more mech units than we do now. Oh, 1 vulture makes it past the blockade. Gonna give Javier some more map vision. It's a big deal. Just to see what's going on. Looks like it's too late to catch the probe transfer. Still scout the 3rd base itself. Okay, we're getting a lot of gateways. And a forge pretty quickly. I wonder if we're going to see some aggression with these gateways from NACLAR. It's generally like, when you get to 3 bases, or even if you want to tech really quickly on 2, like you get like 3 or 4 gateways, and then you tech. And then once you've got like your Arbiter, or Carrier, or Templar tech, then you suddenly add a lot more gateways. Because Terran rarely can actually punish you for doing that. It seems like Naklar is just going gateway man here. Very sadly, this Vulture does make it into the main. Scouts everything, kills a few probes, but gets shut down. So that is going to tell Javier what his opponent is doing. What is he going to do about it? So we're going to 5 factories. This is starting to get to the point where you have to deal damage to justify delaying your 3rd this long. I mean, to get these 3 factories. I mean, you could be Artosis and just like take your 3rd base at 12 minutes and then complain about being out macroed. But like these weren't even like a fast 5 factories. And I think this is our first armory being built, right? So we don't have like a upgrade advantage to help this push. So I think this is just a very slow and steady once the race kind of built heavier. And these goons just standing here died to a mine. This is what happens in all of my games. Like, there's an observer, the goons aren't moving, and mines kill them somehow. Fantastic. I look like Naklar is setting up for a 4th base, which is definitely a smart choice if we have a 3rd coming out here from Terran. We are seeing the Arbiter tech start to take form here. You kind of want your first Arbiter to be started right now, I think. So there's going to be a long window here before we see stasis for recall. Goons being really dumb. God, I hate this. This is what happens to me all the time. I have to keep my units like a million miles away. They get picked off by siege. Here we have the science facility coming up. See, we're going to have like vessels before we have arbiters, which is kind of scary for Protoss. Started yet? No. So I guess like Javier is just building up for a 2-base push. Kind of the rule is like if you get more than 4 factories on 2 bases, you're doing some kind of push, like I've been talking about. But we don't see the other signs of a push, like more upgrades. We have quite a few tanks, but like you can max out at 11 minutes, and obviously that's at like, you know, it's like even higher than my rank. But like that's something I think about, like, what are you doing if you're not maxing out that early as either player in this matchup? And I feel like all these gateways here have kind of slowed down Naklar without much payoff, and like getting these factories at the timing that Javier did is kind of it's not ideal. It's like a little bit confused, I think. But we do have this 3rd base coming down. Honestly, this isn't too late for Terran to get a 3rd. Like, you can be greedy and get it running 8 minutes, but if you're being safe, this is okay. Like, Terran's kind of like, if you eventually get to 3 or 4 bases, you're good. It doesn't really matter how long it took you to get there, just because of the sheer value of a giant tank ball. Here we go. We do have a 5th base coming out for Naklar. So Naklar is definitely expanding very aggressively, as you should be doing as Protoss, because you really want to take advantage of this window time before Terran can push you on the map. Still no major fights yet. We saw Arbor Tech done. I don't think we see an Arbor on the map. We have the 6th base coming out for Protoss, just being quite greedy here, which is good. They're getting more aggressive. These Zealots are kind of by themselves here, getting chewed up by tanks. I don't know if this is going to be a good fight for Protoss. We do have some Zealots running on tanks. Are we going to see a sick Mind Drag? Oh my god. The value. We see another one. Oh my god. Okay, all the tanks died. That's going to make Protoss really happy. Resetting this tank count is so important, because it just takes so long, like, with only 2 factories that can make them. You're right, Paul. Like, Nakar is doing a good job with these expansions. That was a very well-controlled fight, getting those mind drags. Super unfortunate for Javier. There we go. Stasis is in production. The Arbiter's on the way. 12 gateway units coming out. This is peak Protoss right here. We do have upgrades coming out of the way, and Protoss players, including myself, often neglect the upgrades. But we have +1/+1 here. What I think is, yeah, I mean, we only have +1/+0 on the Terrans. So Protoss being ahead in upgrades is pretty rare in this matchup. Getting a little bit close to this base here, but I mean, when you have 5 other Nexuses on the map, you kind of just give it up, right? I think what's more important is this position outside of the natural of Protoss. We do have gateways built up here, so flanking is still possible if this position gets contained. Tanks kind of by themselves here, but no Zealots here to punish them, only Goons. Here we go, there's more Zealots, but I think actually Terran overextended. Tons of gateway units coming from all directions. And again, the tank count is being reset here. There you go. Very nice defense here from Naklar with like the 360 degrees of surround. One tank trying to get away, distracting these 2 goons to walk into mines. But the Terran third base is online. Definitely want to see more factories. We have double upgrades coming. We saw 1 vessel. No more in production just yet. Bunch of speed zealots. That Arbiter is finally done. Second one is on the way. Stasis is done. Want to see recall and the energy upgrade soon. Yeah, this is a gasless base, but honestly, like, vultures are one of the best units in the game, and they don't cost gas, right? Just make more vultures. Tasagi. Eckler might even be gearing up to take another base here. This is every Terran's nightmare. Just Nexuses everywhere. An Arbiter lurking on the map, waiting to recall you. Javier is trying to get a 4th base here. It might go undetected by Protoss. You don't see lots of observer coverage or the Zealots running around here, but also it could be on the path of a recall. You see some sneaky movement here. Maybe trying to find a base. Yeah, looks like they're trying to find a base here. So Naklar is definitely aware that they should be looking for and shutting down expansions. We've seen some good fights in the middle of the map. I think, yeah, maybe one of these units discovered it. So we've seen a few good fights for Protoss, but it's much harder when we get this established position here. Well, there's no tanks at this 4th base, just a couple of mines at the top of the ramp. Oh my god, the mines take out Zealots and Vultures alike. Here we go, we have 2 tanks here in the back. Another undefended. Zealot gets picked up before he can get on the tanks. See how well these goons can micro up here. We need more Terran units up here if this 4th base is going to live. Losing this is actually going to be pretty bad for Javier. 3 base Terran is strong, but when we're talking about 7 base Protoss, Terran needs some kind of advantage here, some kind of X factor. And here we go. Now they've sort of opened up the southern front. Naklar is going for the 3rd base here. I think that is going to hurt. We have a Stasis down here. Oh, we have a 2nd Arbiter. Here we go. Finishing off the 1st Stasis, but honestly, I don't even know if it's needed. This Terran army is getting chewed up. The tank count is being reset one more time. And Protoss was maxed at the start of this. We have plenty of gateways around the map to rebuild. Even if the Soul Force were to get wiped out. And there you go. Javier does tap out. Naklar wins the game with a solid macro strategy here. Just continue to expand it, build up. No fancy tricks with the Arbiters. No weird builds like we saw in our previous games. There you go. And that is going to end the games for Group 30. We still have more games for Group 31, which has a new cast of players. So let's get into that. Let's see here. I'm just trying to figure out how much long. Okay. Now I know how long this cast is going to be. Looking at these replays. Okay, so our first game is going to be Aki Vader. I'm not sure how to say it. Is it Aki or Ake? I don't know. The Terran player against Leonix. And I made sure to pick this because Leonix is my remaining opponent for week 2. Unfortunately, it looks like Ake Vader is a Terran player, so this won't help me because I'm Protoss. But here we go. Hello, Earrub84. Good to have you here. Alright, in the top right, we have the purple or magenta or some color Zerg Leonix, aka Masilla Copa 2021. And in the bottom right, the blue Terran Ake Vader. We will see, I believe, 2 games for maybe next time. I tried to even out who got what games. I realized I just looked at it now, and I think there's only 1 game from Leonix, so maybe I'll try to cast a bonus game just to give Leonix a second game, and definitely not to spy on them for my own benefit. So we saw 2 TVZs on this map earlier. I don't imagine we'll see a game like the second one again. But if we see Overpool, I will be really excited. Looks like more standard here. We have this Overlord almost done. I think we're about to see a 12 hatch, which is the more standard way to play this matchup from Zerg. Barracks has started. There we go. Yeah, honestly, like, I kind of don't understand why Zerg doesn't go hatch first in Zerg vs Protoss more. Like, hatchery first is, like, better against gateway first, which is ridiculous. Like, I don't understand what is the weakness of this build. It just seems really good because, like, you're not even being that greedy because you get more larvae for lings when you hatchery first. But that's my balanced one for this matchup that I don't even play. Ooh, so we have 2 SCVs going out at the same time. Vader here is definitely committed to getting this scouting information. I would really like to see... Well, I guess it's too late. So it's kind of too late to get the 15 command center, which I feel like is supposed to be the point of double scouting. But it seems like Vader like delayed their first scout and then had both scouts go at the same time. There we go. Ooh, being very safe. I feel like... Okay, so the pool's almost done. So maybe we don't feel confident doing it. And I do think the Terrans should take more advantage of the fact that buildings can fly. Like, the ability to build your expansion in your main and then just lift it out is actually really powerful. In this case, I don't know if it was required. Like, I feel like Zerg is not being aggressive. But can't blame my guy for being safe. Do have a quick layer here from Leonix. Looks like we'll see some 2 hatchery play. I'll have to find out how good that Muta Micro is. pretty quick second barracks here. Is a, I believe it is the traditional reaction to only seeing 2 hatcheries from Zerg. Because like I said earlier, we are worried about those mutalisks coming out pretty quickly. Scouting SUV is killed. Open this bunker up. Command center is going to land safely. Both players kind of just getting off their game plans here so far. Ooh, so we have... Wait, no, this is normal. Okay, I was thinking about the wrong matchup again. No Spire started just yet. I feel like that's a... Yeah, there's only 2 guys on gas? Oh, no. Oh, this happens to me all the time. I'm not even sure how. There we go. A 3rd drone is added, and this is going to hurt Zerg. I mean, it's only, I don't know, like 10 seconds or so on the Spire. I got delayed there, but I've seen so many games in this matchup where the turrets are finished. Sorry, buddy, I unplugged my microphone. Anyway, I have seen so many games in this matchup where the turrets finished as the mutas were flying in. So you can tell that like every second matters. And that delay on the Spire, that can totally add up. Like, it can be a difference between killing a bunch of stuff with Zerg or killing nothing. So I definitely feel for Leonix. I've had so many games where I only had 2 guys to guess. Vader sneaks another SCD in here just to confirm. Probably saw that. Probably didn't see that Spire. Never mind. So I actually might not be sure of what tech we have coming up here. And we see another quick 3rd base here. I think maybe this just isn't as greedy as I thought it was. Sometimes it feel to me like 2 hatchery mutalisk is actually the more economic option than 3 hatchery muta, because you don't get the 3rd hatchery as fast, but you get it at a mining location. And you, hopefully, like ideally, you can defend it with mutas. So we have a colony starting here. Oh, here we do have mutas. I don't know if I understand why we're making links. I feel like you want to make as many mutas as you can. Maybe there's something was seen that made Leonix think there were going to be Marines on the map. Now we do have turrets done, but if the mutas are brave, they can dive right past them and get on the mineral line itself, and they do. Oh, they're going to run into all these Marines though. This is a little bit unfortunate for these mutalisks. Now their escape path is covered by turrets. Oh no, don't dive into more of them. Oh man. That feels a bad moment right there. So these mutas have been rebuffed for now. It looks like we're getting a couple more. We're getting the air attack upgrade. Lings coming in here, diving on that turret. Very nice. They get out of here. Yeah, here we go. They kill a few Marines, lose some Lings, but getting that turret, it does make Terran that much more nervous. Mutas could like hang over these cliffs now and kill some SCVs. Little things like that are going to help Leonix get back in the game. I think Stimpack is done, and Marine Rage on the way. And with Stimpack being done, Terran is going to have some potential for aggression, especially with the produced type mutas from earlier. Did we see some more mutas die at the end? That's very probable. But the 3rd base is done in the top left. Drones are ready to mine. The 4th hatchery here. We see Lurker Aspect on the way. Here we go. This is our game plan is taking away here. But these Marines are moving out. They get some free kills on these Lings. Mutas trying to buy time. Oh, but they fly right past the Marines. A little bit of confusion here. Zerg. Oh, a Muta goes down. But they do ultimately do their job, keeping the Terran army in their base, buying time to build all these free colonies. Queen's Nest on the way, gonna get that hive tag. Everything is proceeding very normally for Leonix at home after that delayed fire. Actually keep these Marines tucked inside their own base rather than being aggressive. So I've heard this a lot, that really this third base is more for gas than it is for minerals. But right now, Zerg has way more gas than they have minerals, so I think this is fine. We do want to see, like, at least one lurker on the ramp, right? Just in case Terran does discover this base, but it seems like Vader isn't really even trying to scout the rest of the map. Vader's just pretty much consumed with keeping these mutas open right now. We do have the starport coming online. It's going to eventually lead to those vessels, which are kind of the sign for mutas to get out of the game. Because Radiate is so good against clump mutas. Hive tech has been started. I'm going to see those defilers again. There we go, the gas third base is starting. That's going to be really important for all this hive tech that's going to come out. Zerg can pretty much spend as much gas as they can find. Ooh, some lurkers being caught out on the open ground here. Just found out I'm getting a pizza today, so that's cool. Oh, I believe Vader has scouted third base. Yes, it looks like we did have a scan. There's nothing here to defend this base at all. Maybe you could panic, spawn some hiders and more lurkers here, but I'm not sure that Leonix is aware this attack is coming, and I'm pretty sure this base is just doomed. Here we go. One lurker is like, wait! I got lost in traffic! And he does not make it there in time to kill this army, and this base is definitely done for. Now, there have been some mining done. Not much mining done of gas. It's not a game over moment for Zerg. You know, keeping most of the tech alive, or keeping all the tech alive is good. But it's definitely a big move for Vader. This gas is going to hurt any kind of hive tech that comes out. We can see how fast Zerg can spin this gas, like making all these hydras, all these lurkers, he eats up your gas. So it's going to make the hive tech, like the defilers, much more important. You know, Zerg is going to be on the back foot until they get a third base up with gas, but they can certainly survive. But it's going to make it that much more painful whenever a defiler gets irradiated or otherwise picked off. So Leonix is really going to have to play their best until they can get more gas. I think the army of Terran is probably going to head home. I think he's probably scanned all of these Sunkens. There should be more lurkers here. Yes, there are more lurkers. So I don't think Terran has much chance of killing Zerg. Thank you for following here up. I appreciate it. This drone. This is the bravest drone I've ever seen. Trying to expand. I'm not sure why these Marines stemmed. They just sense it. Here we go. One stemmed up here to check the space. And the brave little drone is going to get shot down. F. Ooh, but it was a distraction for this hatchery. Now this is a really spooky place for Zerg to expand. It's like, it's closer to Terran than any base they can take up here in the top left. It has 2 ramps, and it is close by air. So if Terran ever goes for drops, this base is going to be in a lot of pain. But they've discovered it. Oh, and we have the wall of lurkers outside the Terran's base. I don't know if this is going to work. I mean, we have vessels on the way, right? I know we have scan. Oh, well, it'll work if all these Marines walk into the lurkers. So, imagine if these were hold position lurkers, how much pain Vader would be in right now. But even so, it's not great for them. Their army is split up. They probably don't understand how many lurkers are here. And it is buying time for this base to be rebuilt. And we see a defiler coming out. We see a queen. I think we saw consume for defilers. I'm not sure. I'm interested to see what this queen does. Like, I'm pretty sure they get ensnare for free, and ensnare is actually really good against bio. So, you know, I feel like it can't be a bad idea to just get one queen, right? Like, for 100 gas, the kind of value they can bring. Oh, this Defiler is exposed, though. There we go. We do see Consume. Are we going to see Dark Swarm? These Marines are way too brave. There we go. The Defiler makes it to the protection of the Lurkers. See a vessel coming out. That's going to be critical for Terran to break out of this. Oh, the vessel done already. So I really like this movement, going to the edge of the line of Lurkers and fighting them that way. It's a good way to avoid disaster here. This vessel is like 5 energy away from irradiate. Killing this Defiler would probably mean the end of this contain with how many tanks we see here. There we go. The Defiler, its time on Earth is limited. Marine is helping to finish the job. These Dark Swarms are dangerously close to the Terran Natural, but we don't see any real follow-up, just a few links. But in the long run, Zerg does have this gas being rebuilt. They are pretty close to Terran in supply, which is generally a good sign. We have, oh, we do have these Lurkers. I feel like these Lurkers should just run for it. They're doomed if they stay here and get shot down by tanks. What are the upgrades like? We have 1-1 with 2-2 on the way. I don't think we have, no, we have no upgrades in Missouri, which is going to add up eventually, especially if we get to Ultras. Ultras absolutely need upgrades. We have the third base here for Terran, and the fact that it's mineral only basically doesn't matter in this matchup. Like, Terran can go the whole game with just 2 gases, unless you start to, like, throw away battle cruisers or something. Ooh, but Zerg is going to get their 4th base up. Seems like Vader might be more focused on the home front for now after dealing with that contain. Haven't seen much aggression from them in the past few minutes, which Leonix has definitely taken advantage of. Okay. This many Defilers, you're not going to get wiped out by a Radiate. This is a lot of Defilers. And we do have Carapace coming on anyway. And we have Overlord transporting before Overlord speed. I'm sure we'll see Overlord speed next. But I wonder if we're going to see some like mass drop with Dark Swarm and Crack in the Terran base. That would be amazing. So there's 1 Lurker here on the ramp. Yeah, there we go. Being backed up by 2 more. That's right, Lifebook. Dark Swarm is basically Viper's ult. It's like in reverse, I guess, because like it's for people shooting into it rather than shooting out. I don't know. Ooh, 3 Lurkers get irradiated. Suddenly this base is absolutely exposed. But will Vader take the opportunity? Yes, they will. It looks like another base here is going to go down for Leonix. Managed to get like 500 gas out of it, and it looks like a couple hundred minerals. So I don't know if that's worth it or not. Like, honestly, I don't know what the math on that is. But it looks like we're playing Refugee Zerg and just getting more expansions whenever an expansion dies. So that's good. We have these Zerglings out here. No upgrades. I think they have Adrenal, but you really do need the upgrades for the payoff. I mean, as Terran gets more armor, the leaves are just going to be tickling. Here we go. We have enough Lurkers to blot out enough Defilers to blot out the sun. Trying to cover this entire 3rd base. So Radiate is killing 1 Defiler. The splash is going to kill more. So a bunch of Defilers go down, but the 3rd base is forced to lift off. Honestly, Terran doesn't care that much. Maybe wants some more SCVs, but Terran can just go on forever off the 2 bases. And we even have another command center just about to finish as I look at it right now. So Terran's okay with it, with losing the base. The real threat is having these Dark Swarms all the way to your natural. Like, this could be one of the game-ending conditions for Terran, because these Lings are completely immune here. Firebats do some damage. It's a good thing we see more Firebats coming up. Yes. Okay. So the natural is saved at last time by the flamey boys. We have more waves coming. Did all those defilers get killed? Like, we had like 7 defilers. I was sure we were going to see those last for the rest of the game. Now with the loss of all that supply for Zerg, Terran is suddenly looking in a much more active position. We have hatcheries everywhere. And also, we saw a similar thing in our last TVZ where, like, the Terran was absolutely in a position to crush the Zerg. They just weren't aware of it. I mean, which is very hard to do in game. You're dealing with everything else. Like, kind of just like, oh my god, just like leave me alone for 2 minutes while I fix all my control groups. But like, I don't think we see any more defilers on the board. Maybe there was one I saw earlier. No. There we go. We see 2 more being made. We do see ultras on the map, but like I talked about last time, and in this game as well, they just need upgrades. Now, is this... So we have these Lings headed down to the 4th base of Terran. I don't know if this is Ling tight. This would be Zealot tight. Like, if this was Protoss versus Terran, 1 take up here would just kill Infinity Zealots. We're about to find out. No. It's not. They can get to that little gap. So that feels bad for Terran. Another base has to lift. And similar to last game, Terran just says, you know what, I don't want to defend that. I'm just going to go kill you. And I think we're going to see it here. We just Defilers get here right on time, but they don't have the energy yet. Can Leonix micro them to get the Darkstorm up? I don't think so. There's nothing to consume. They go down before any Darkstorms. It just radiates on everything. But the Terran army is not grouped up. Vader is trying to micro on 2 fronts here. Looks like they well keep their natural and main alive with the fire pets in the bunker. God, can they kill the Ultra though? I think the Ultra might kill everything by itself. Okay, this is kind of scary. Oh, and the Terran army gets picked off. The Ultras are doing so good. I did not think they would be this effective without upgrades. But I guess Terran's only at 2-2. Last time we saw Terran at 3 attack upgrades, which helps him chew through Ultras so fast that, oh god. So this Ultralisk with the Irradiate is probably worse than just a regular Ultralisk. Like when it's fighting SCVs and Marines and it still has most of its health, the Irradiate's going to damage all the bio more than it'll damage the Ultra. So I feel like this game like turned around so quickly there with that botched attack from Vader. Because now they only have these like handful of minerals in their main. They're going to struggle to get this 3rd base up. Their 4th base is flying in the middle of the map right now, not mining anything. Marines are really confused, trying to do something on the map. We're still trying to clean up this disaster in the natural. I cannot believe how fast that turned around. I really thought Terran was about to win that game. But I suppose it's not truly over yet. Seems like Terran will be able to take this 3rd. Terran still has a cloud of science vessels. 10 vessels, all with Irradiate. Like, yeah, that's 10 Defilers that just get deleted from a fight. 10 Ultras that get bruised up and ready to kill. And who needs all that when you have 5 good men in the top left corner of the map killing more drones? Now you've got a lot of ground to make up when you kill these drones. We were beyond 60 drones, looking like StarCraft 2 over here. They do get cleaned up, but not before they make heroes of themselves. Zerg does still have plenty of bases. There's 1 Marine, he's here, just like, yeah, I'm not scared. And the Zerg just don't want to fuck with him. Like, you know, they respect him. Oh god, 3 irradiated Ultras fighting back at this 3rd Irradiate, doing a bunch of damage to these Marines. I think these Ultras are getting cleaned up, but like, this is just buying more and more time where Terran is just not mining. to any significant degree. We have so many SCVs sitting around idle because it's not safe for them to mine anywhere. It's just more ultras being thrown at the problem. It doesn't, like, you can just keep irradiating them, but they just keep stalling here. Yeah, oh my god, and the SCVs are being forced to fight the irradiated ultras. So much value preserved. Up 30 supply, up 1,000,000 bases. They've got the tech, they're getting the upgrades. There's more vessels than Scourge, but who cares when the Terran can't get a ground army or an economy going. We have another suicide squad heading for the top left. And, I mean, I think they'll get it. They'll get a lot of damage. Oh, not if these links show up first. So I think we're going to see damage dealt by these Marines, but it's not going to be enough to help Vader come back in this game. We have the vessels have decided that they are no longer support units. They're going to do the damage all by themselves. Are we going to see the ultimate eraser move? Probably not, because there's no minerals here to kill drones at. Scourge do connect. A bunch of vessels go down. Sad day for science. This queen is finally going to do something. Alright, forget everything else going on in this game. Leonix has decided to micro the queen. Oh, are we going to see an infested command center? Oh, it's not low enough. No! Rip. Looks like this attack was focused on the hatchery, but it's being cleaned up by this one Ultralist. This is a horror movie playing out right before our eyes right now. Oh my god, look at that. It's too small for the Ultra to fit. That's funny. Another hatchery is going up. Still, oh, here we go. We do have mining going on for Terran. They are technically still in the game. More vessels are coming out. Terran has a huge bank of gas. It's just the minerals now. That's the problem. We have more small squads heading out on the map. But honestly, like, this is a way to deal damage as Vader, but this is never going to win the game. This kind of tactic. I mean, I don't know. This is a really hard game to win in general, but if you keep throwing away your small army, you're never going to get into position to win the game. I don't know what you could do to get back in the game, but this is never going to win you the game. This is only going to get you some damage. But maybe you just want to feel good about yourself and kill bases. I've definitely stayed in games longer than I should have just to get some damage done. Oh, I ran into the coin thing. It's really funny. There we go. While the Terran is getting damaged on the top left, more cracklings are attacking what little economy the Terran has left. No, I don't think Vader has got it. Well, here we go. We do have a drop at the bottom left. I mentioned drops like 20 minutes ago, and they finally happened. But like even with all these drones going down, there's still 76 drones. And the last mining is being shut down. I mean, we still have some in the main somehow. Just a couple hundred minerals. Terran is... Looks like Terran is scouting bases, looking around. I mean, they're getting some damage done here. It's just not enough. Oh, here we go. This has to be a killing blow, right? All these ultras supported by defilers. These guys were going on a drop, but they have to stay back and defend. And there you go. Leonix wins a very hard-fought, all over the map game. And that was our first game for this group. And that took a while, so I'm going to have to get some water real quick. Oops. So I will be right back before the next game. Alright, I'm back. Thank you for sticking with me, everyone. I'm rejuvenated. I've refilled my water. And we're going to get to our next game here. So we're going to see Ake Vader again, this time versus Myriad Colors in a PvT. Alright, we do have in the top right the red Protoss, Myriad Colors 2. And the bottom right, again, actually, from last game, the blue Terran Ake Vader. So we saw a PvT in the last group, where the Protoss just sort of out-expanded and eventually outnumbered the Terran. There are a lot of different ways that this matchup can go, though. So I don't know if we're going to see the same thing. Seems like Myriad Colors has basically only played versus Terran. Hello, Alpha for Toast. Good to see you. I think it's these two, and a Terran, and a Zerg, right? I think that's... there's 5 people though, so I don't. Whatever. You know what? I shouldn't be doing. I should not be making this kind of statement on air when I can't remember it. Things that happened 2 minutes ago. It seems like the race balance in CPL is like way better than ladder. Like it seems like it's pretty even. Oh, by the way, it's it's cool to see a new player to CPL. We have a lot of new people this season. On the ladder, it's like really skewed in favor of Protoss because it's the hardest and most honorable race, of course. But in CPL, it's pretty even. A very standard opening here from Myriad Colors, and he's doing the critical strategy of scouting first. Now he actually is scouting a bit early here. The earliest you normally want to scout is after the Cybernetics core. I don't know if we might see this probe be annoying. It's going to be too late to like steal gas or anything like that. As he talks about a cat cam, I do want to set up a cat cam, but I think I'm going to wait until I move so that I can have like the ultimate freedom to set everything up. And so, like, my cats can be out at the time that I'm casting anyway. So we're just hanging out, trying to be one of the boys here. Oh, the Marine does not approve. Oh, like a camera on the cat, like attached to the cat. Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah, I don't know, like, can you like wire? Is the GoPro like wireless? Will that work, or it has a wire from my computer to Gary? Because that will not work. I can tell you right away. Okay, so immediately, so getting one. Okay, well, first of all, this F in the chat, boys. If you right-click on the geyser, like a millisecond before it finishes, your probes move to the building instead of mine. So that feels bad. But cool trick that I learned like last season. If you hit G for gather on an unfinished assimilator, they will start mining when the building finishes, which is great because that's like the default behavior in StarCraft 2 if you right click on an unfinished building, which is cool. Anyway, what I was originally going to say is this build is unusual because, you know, we do sometimes see Protoss start with a Zealot, but we don't usually see 2 Zealots. And this Zealot is just being a man and walking into the mineral line and killing 2 SCVs, which is fantastic. I would take that trade every time. I think the second Zealot is not going to be as lucky. We do have more Marines. We have the little micro hole down here where the Zealot can't get to, and we also have a Vulture gun. But let's see how much damage a Zealot can get done. I mean, the SCVs are not running away. 1 SCV down. Oh, it wasn't focused. If that Zealot was focused on another SCV, I think it could get another kill. There we go. The SCV is pulled back. You know what? I think 1 zealot for 1 SCV is all right. All right, and you get the scouting. Ooh, and we do have a second factory. Did Myriad Colors scout that? If they did scout that information, oh, hold on, it's not 2 factors. It's a command center. So this is what we call a CC factory command center factory, which is aggressive but not nearly as aggressive as a 2 factory. But we have, oh baby, we have 2 gateways into Citadel. I assume we'll see a Templar Archives and some Dark Templar. So Myriad Colors is absolutely not even 1% worried about a 2 factory rush, because Dark Templar will shut that down. I mean, 2-gate Goon will shut that down. Although this Goon really does not want to take this fight right now. Yeah, his Marines do a lot of DPS. Rip. The second Goon does back up. Fortunately for Protoss, Terran does not push that advantage. I feel like Terran should be trying to scout right now with at least 1 Vulture. Because, of course, like, if you're playing Terran in this matchup, the latest a normal Nexus will get up is at 420. If it's any later than that, they're doing some shenanigans. And as we can see, there is definitely shenanigans. Okay, 2-gate Speed Zealot. That was not what I was expecting. Like, 2-gate DT is a thing. Now, if you've seen any of my replays, and maybe if you see the ones from week 2, spoilers, you will see a build that I like to do, where you do get the Speed Zealot on 1 base, but it's absolutely an all-in, because you also proxy 3 gates. So this is something else entirely. So I'm interested to see how this goes. I mean, we don't see any mines from Terran, and we just have 2 factories only making tanks, which is kind of the dream situation for Speed Zealots. So maybe this build is going to work. Oh, here we go. We do have mines. Never mind. Rip. Mines are really good against Speed Zealots. You pretty much need observers and goons to deal with them. But I respect it. I just pulled a muscle on my leg or something. I'm trying to die on cast. Looks like we had a pause. Fortunately, the replay does not actually pause for us, so we just see everything happen in an instant there. Alright, so we have the 4 Goon, 2 Speed Zealot move out. And I think these tanks are going to be enough. If the mines were close by, I would say that there was a chance of a cool mine drag. But there's not. The Natural Nexus does finish. Probes are being transferred. We have a 3rd gateway. I would really like to see a robo. I mean, even if you want to do fun stuff with Speed Zealots, you just need a robo. Oh, no. Well, I mean, they didn't kill anything. That's pretty good. All of the mines in this area of the map are gone. But we have 4 tanks here. It's really hard for us to get any damage done. 1 Zealot is sacrificed, but the goons are wisely pulled back, but they're going to run into these mines. Oh no. Feels bad. And meanwhile, Vader is being a jerk and putting mines at expansion sites, which makes me want to uninstall this game when it happens to me. More gateways coming up. Looks like Myriad Colors just wants to be gateway man. Yeah, we're going to 6 gateways. No robo. We're going to see a lot of gateway units. We don't see... Okay, and we're seeing lots of factories. So we're just going to see 2 big armies matching to each other really early in this game, I think. But I think that kind of favors Terran. If we had a robo with observers and shuttles, you could do a lot of tricks with these units. But Terran is going to feel pretty confident in this fight, I think. Terran is just, and Protoss is just not going to be able to expand until they get observers to deal with these mines. I mean, I guess they could just face tank them with Zealots or Goons if they really want to expand, but looking at all these gateways, I don't think we're going to see expansion happening. This is so many tanks. Like 4 vultures and what is this like? Oh, this is 10 tanks. That's a lot. And we're going to see reinforcing waves of vultures. Yes. So this push is going to happen very soon. Probably like with the next wave of vultures or even sooner. This poor probe tried to build a... Oh, he's... Oh no, he says no! He's going to build these pylons and then... He blocked. That's sad. And this Ursidon is not helping. This Ursidon is just creeping closer and closer to the Protoss base. Now, if you don't know, you can kill the Ursidon. Oh, I see. He doesn't have money right on his build. You can kill this guy because he starts at low health. Can be kind of annoying, but you can't kill the mine. Alright, I've been calling this push coming out. You've got +1. You've got plenty of units. I don't think we have a 3rd command center on the way. Do we have... Oh, this is a barracks. Okay, barracks in Bay. Here we go. This army is moving out, and I don't know what Protoss has to deal with it. We have one group of goons and one group of zealots, but in this positioning, I don't think they have much of a chance. Like, maybe with a really wide arc, Protoss can take this fight, but they just sit in their natural and get pushed up on. It is going to be rough. Just with all these mines being laid. Yep. And I just want to mention that... Oh no. So we have a cannon here to kill the mine, which I have done plenty. But we also have the Nexus just built off anyway. Anyway, more important things. Speed Zealots fighting the Vultures. In this kind of situation, you really just want to run right on top of the tanks. But even with that, I don't know if Protoss will be taking much of a fight here. The Ursidon gets killed by mines. And the Protoss army gets wiped out because Terran is really strong. There you go. Vader does win this game. That's going to bring us into our 3rd game of this group. Alright, now we are going to get into a TVT, everybody's favorite matchup. It's going to be 2 players that we haven't seen yet. Azrael and maybe next time. I know we saw a request from maybe next time earlier, so... Here we go. Good night, Alpha for Toast. Alright. Oh, orange and yellow, really? Okay. Or in the bottom left, we have the orange Terran, Azrael, talking about how lag makes it easier to split your workers, which is some truth. And in the top left, the yellow Terran, maybe next time. So, TVT, definitely the most infamous matchup in the game. It's definitely the longest on average, with these big, slow mech armies splitting the map in half. We don't see a lot of the ultra long TVTs in CPL, just because it is very hard to actually get to that point in the game. How many A keys are broken in Brewer TVT? None. Because you don't really attack most of the time. You kind of stare at each other with lines of siege tanks, and then attack once. And somewhere I've triggered lots of Terran players. But it's harder to get to that point. In CPL, I've seen a lot of TVTs die when both players are on 2 base. One thing that I've talked about before is I see a lot of people go for 2 factory pushes in this matchup, and it never works. So that's kind of the curse of the CPL TVT. So both players are putting their barracks kind of forward-ish. I think what they're going to do is build 1 Marine and then Scout. This one could be to defend the natural. We could see Command Center on 15 or something like that. Okay, I'm not going to see that if we see gas. Because Marines are so useless in this matchup. that Terran players try to get as few of them as possible and go straight into factories. Now maybe next time has gone for the pro strat of scout first. It's going to get all this intel. But like, what are you even scouting for? Like, they're just going to make factory units. It's CBT. Like, you know, if you could scout for like how many factories are they making and things like that, it'd be great. But your SCV is going to get pushed out where you can do that. This SCV's chased. Maybe next time's this far out of the base, just like, yeah, don't come back. Little players starting their factory. There are a lot of choices for what you do. Like, we can see like tanks come out of the first factories, or like 2 or 3 factories just making vultures early on. It actually can make a big difference in the game. So I'm waiting for the players to make a significant choice. And here we go. Somebody has built a second factory. Here we go. So I see this happen a lot in TBD. Someone goes for this aggressive option with 2 factories. And I think out of like the 10 games I've seen it happen, the player going 2 factories has won once. And it wasn't even because of the 2 factories. It was like 20 minutes later. So we'll see if maybe next time can break the curse. It's just like it takes too long, I think, to get going. Like, especially if Azrael scouts this, he just gets siege mode, and he can defend a bunch of factory units. I had been told as well that like if the defending player figures out that it's 2 factory, they can get a starport and wraiths can kill the push. And I had been told that like this 2 factory push can be parlayed into like map control and more expansions rather than doing lots of direct damage. And it's definitely going to be 2 factory tank, these 2 machine shops. You can't see 3 factory vulture on 1 base, which is kind of a different beast. But is Azrael aware of it? We have 1 ring and 1 vulture out here. I think this barrack saw some of these units, but not all of them. There we go. This second vulture does spawn in time to avoid dying to this force at least. Ooh, and yeah, see, and we have Azrael going up to 3 factories and getting a command center. So as long as they don't die immediately, I feel like they're going to just be. I feel like they're just going to be in a stronger position. Like this 2 factory just takes too long to get up. Okay, wow, I said it was 2 factory tank, and instead we have 2 factories with both vulture upgrades. So clearly I don't know what I'm talking about. But like in this case, I feel like you should just get 3 factories and get lots of vultures. We have here, by the way, an armory. I assume that means we're going to see Goliaths, because Goliaths are good against vultures. But as soon as okay, so Azrael's not going tanks. Azrael's going 3 factory vulture themselves after getting expansion. So I assume this armory is to get Goliaths. And early on in the game, Goliaths kind of just completely shut down vultures. They kill the spider mines really quickly, and vultures do such little damage to them. But we might not even get to that point here. The SCVs are being forced to retreat. Somehow, yeah, maybe next time has a huge lead in the vulture count. It's 3 to 5, and that's pretty insurmountable. We do see 1 tank started. 1 tank kill lots and lots of vultures. Because vultures only deal 5 damage per shot to large units like the tank or Goliath. So maybe next time is going to look to set up some kind of contain. They have denied the expansion, and they've started their own. So maybe next time you can still use this to build SCVs, and we'll have it when they do eventually clear the base. Here we have, maybe next time be really annoying, building buildings in their opponent's natural just to get in the way. I think this depot will have to be canceled once this tank is, well, now the tank is here. These mines are going to be annoying. Terran units are pretty good at clearing out mines, but it can go really wrong. Like if mines hit all these units, Azrael would just lose the game immediately. So you have to be very careful. We're getting siege tech now. So eventually siege, well, like siege mode would be very good against vultures, but these mines will still be in the way. And we do have Goliaths. They're being used to scare away the barracks, scouting maybe next time's base. So you know what? I talk trash about the 2-factory push, but I think maybe next time has done it right. You know, they haven't committed to like killing their opponent or anything like that, but they have done a really good job delaying the expansion here. Oh, we do a scan. Okay. But even with the scan, I mean, basically the expansion is done at the same time. Here we go. We do see a transfer. And so I guess we kind of see players in a very similar position. Israel has a starport. I assume we're going to see dropships. Maybe Wraiths. I don't think you would get Wraiths if you've already seen Goliaths. So I'm going to assume it's dropships. But we have maybe next time almost has the +1 attack. Meanwhile, Azrael has more factories, has a comp set, and has a starport. So maybe actually it is better for Azrael. Like if they do this long enough, they're gonna have a much bigger army. Although this position on the map, just keeping Azrael contained in their natural, is very powerful. I have often heard it said by Terran players who actually understand this matchup that like position on the map is more important than economy or even like supply count. Now it seems like this contain is pretty soft. Oh well, when I say that, 4 tanks show up. That's gonna get pretty hard. Doesn't block off this angle just yet, at least for vultures. The mines are going to keep tanks there. What is maybe next time going to do with this contain? Getting starport of their own, a second armory, an academy of their own. I feel like we need to see more factories or an expansion or something, but actually we see Azrael being confident enough to get their 3rd command center. We saw this starport. Do we see getting 2 command centers? Or no? Oh, this is Barracks' command center. Okay, I should pay attention. The starport is finished. I don't see any air units out of it. So drops could be a good way to get. Well, excuse me. Drops could be a good way to get out of this contain. Wraiths could be a good way to get out of the contain, as long as no Goliaths actually show up here. There are 2 Goliaths, so I don't know if I like that as much. But like a drop in the base would be pretty good, because basically all maybe next time's units are here at the contain. We are getting cloaked for the Wraiths, so that's going to give them a chance even if there are Goliaths. We saw the Academy finish. We don't see comp stats yet. I'm sure they'll be up by the time we have cloak out on the Wraiths. I really like this vulture checking all of these bases. It's something you do when you're ahead or when you have your opponent contained, is just check all the bases. And I really like that this vulture's on patrol. It means you have 1 unit checking 3 bases. Maybe send 1 more and check the right side of the map, but it's a really good move. This Wraith is finding somewhere without Goliaths. Scan, let's tanks take out some mines. Just seeing Azrael make more moves against this contain, but as more tanks show up, and as they are allowed to take this high ground, it's going to get pretty good for maybe next time. Especially, like, I've said this like 3 times now, but like I don't like the choice of Wraiths this late on 1 starport when you see your opponent has Goliaths. Right? Like, a dropship or 2 can do a lot of damage even if there aren't Goliaths on the map, but Wraiths are just bad. The only reason you ever build them is just because having a air unit that can shoot ground is so powerful in this matchup and in the game in general. But like, compared to any other unit, Wraiths are garbage. So you really need to have like a lot of them, or have them in a very strong situation for them to be effective. And like when your opponent already has Goliaths on the map, is not that situation, I think. But I do like that Asriel is keeping the Wraiths alive. I see a lot of people just lose all their Wraiths, which is really easy to do when they're paper planes. So I don't know if it's the best choice. We're going up to 5 factories here in the base, maybe next time, and a 3rd base. Maybe even a 4th base for maybe next time. Really starting to take advantage of this contain to macro up a dropship of their own here. How many factories are we at for Asriel? So we're going to do 6, it looks like. Here we go. 2 Port Wraith. Going to start to make scary numbers of these. Is going to force their opponent to make more Goliaths rather than tanks. Oh, but we even have turrets being set up here to defend the contain. So Wraiths are back to being hard countered again, I think. Just scanning what? You can't tell. The important thing is I do not. I think maybe, yeah. So I think Asriel scanned this base. They have not scanned this base. So they're not totally aware of the situation that they're in. But they're still not. They're just not able to get their 3rd base because of these tanks. They're getting another command center when they still can't take this base. I mean, I guess if you're sitting around with all these minerals, like, do something with them. But I keep harping on this, but I think dropships would have made a much bigger impact on this game than Wraiths. Like, they would have a better chance of dropping right on here, killing this, or dropping right on here and killing these, allowing Asriel to claim more ground and take their 3rd base, because right now it's just taking them too long to break out. It took a while for maybe next time to take these bases, but now they have taken them, they're in a great position, and like they're getting their own dropships to get that really juicy mobility. They're getting their factories. They've got 2 armories here. I think they need a science facility to keep going. No, they already have one somewhere. I think. Yes. Okay. Well, they are getting upgrades. What are the upgrades at for Orange? Yeah, Orange has no upgrades, and none in the way. None on the way. And actually, the +2 upgrade for siege tank attack is huge, because without it, tanks take 3 hits to kill tanks. With it, they take 2 hits to kill tanks, and that just, it's a huge impact. Some boys are being told to take hits here, but oh god, all these things are so clumped. And this contain is so effective for maybe next time. As we're taking so many losses here, does manage to keep the Wraith alive, but loses so many tanks that now it's going to be even harder for them to break out in the future. Maybe next time, really cementing their position and continuing to control the bases on the map, like putting vultures and mines all over the place. A really solid way to play the game. It's very easy to lose track of that while you're doing 100 other things. I pulled my mic out again. Anyway, it's really easy to lose track of the base count when you think you're ahead and then suddenly discover a few hidden expos. So it's a really nice touch that maybe next time is doing this, putting these mines out. We're seeing more production buildings over here in the top right. Usually a Protoss trick. But at some point in this turn, you just run out of space in your main with all these depots and stuff taking up space. Look at these turrets. Maybe next time is just trying to cross off all the ways that they could lose this game. Like, they've got a contain going, so they can't get attacked there. They've got mines and vultures at all the bases, so they can't get out expanded. And they've got turrets, so they can't get doom dropped and lose all their production. Now, Asriel could scan here, use the race to kill these mines, but even then, the space would be completely undefended from any kind of ground push. Which is, again, the strength of this game. If you have more turrets showing up the Wraith, you're going to have such a hard time. You have a dropship reinforcement in the back here. Asriel doing a good job just creeping forward, using scans to take out tanks, but there's more where that came from. I think we're going to have to see some, like a big play here from Ezreal if they want to get back in the game. Like, we're even setting up like a first line of turrets. I guess we're actually, this is like extending the contain up to this cliff in the corner of the map using these turrets. Just tightening the chokehold that much more. Oh, here we go. The Wraiths are on the hunt. There's actually no turrets over here. There are 4 starports, most of which are making Wraiths themselves. I don't think that Cloak is not done for maybe next time. If they hit quick on the scan, maybe they can win this fight. But I think with these Wraiths from Ezreal having numbers at the start of the fight, they are going to be able to shut down any Wraiths that pop out. So this is a nice move from Ezreal. I think maybe next time has a lot of units in the same control group because there's really no reason to send vultures and tanks over here against this. So these starports are already shut down. There's not really mining here being done. There's a turret in the corner. And yeah, 3 Goliaths will kill all these Wraiths. Wraiths are so squishy. So actually this is defended in the end. This base has more turrets and 2 Goliaths, so the Wraiths are not going to get anything done here. Very sad for the Wraiths, and they're basically out of the game now. And now, in the end, maybe next time is going to have the air advantage on top of every other advantage they have in this game. So I'm really not sure what Ezreal can do at this point. And it really all does come down to that 2-factory push that I talked down to. So you know what? Kudos to maybe next time. But here we go. We do have a big push out. Looks like the units are getting stuck on this corner of the ramp, which I gotta have to do all the time. We are getting on this side of the contain here. And it looks like Ezreal has broken at least this one flank of the contain, which should let them take the space for now. We still have a good amount of units here. We still have 70 supply more for maybe next time, but Ezreal's position has improved. Now, what I really hope we see is we see battlecruisers out of these starports. That'd be sick. I've only seen battlecruisers a couple times in CPL, and normally, like, the game ends while they're still in production. A bunch of dropships here from maybe next time, but he hasn't actually used them. Like, he's used them as reinforce, like to bring reinforcements to the contain. But not to drop them or be aggressive. I mean, you don't really need to be aggressive when you're in this position, but... And again, the caster curse, when I talk about something, it happens. Or when I have something not happening, it happens. So we are going to see these dropships do something. I don't know if they're going to drop right on the units or go into the main base, or they're just going to go somewhere. But with only 3 tanks left here, nice mine hit. Ezreal is going to easily clean up the rest of this contain, and now they're kind of home free on the map. And like, I see lots of supply for yellow, but where is it? Like, some of that supply is in dropships, some of it is in wraiths, and honestly, this many wraiths can probably clean that up. Here we go. We're gonna see 5 dropships land in the main of Ezreal. What kind of damage are they going to get done? 1 gets shot down before they can land. So this is going to be hard to deal with. This is a lot of tanks and very nice defensive terrain, basically. Let's see. Ezreal is clearing out these turrets. His army is left unattended while he focuses on defending this drop. The wraiths are... Oh, here we go. There's a lot of wraiths. This drop is going to... I think basically it's not going to be kicked out. We have some tanks trying to minimize how far the drop can go, but there's a lot of buildings in range here, especially as the wraiths show up. Now, this is something you don't see. Cloaked Wraiths killing the main command center. We're seeing a last-ditch attack here from Ezreal make its way across the map, but like the reinforcements coming out of factories and all of these Wraiths, if they really had to, should be able to clean it up before maybe next time it takes too much damage. main base being hollowed out. Only one mining base, really. Yeah, 4 minerals left here. Only one mining base for Azrael, as opposed to the, it's like 3, 2. Okay. So not, it's not that huge of a lead. Still enough, I think, to win the game. Yeah, here we go. More Cloaked Wraith coming in. There are 2 Goliaths here, not enough to deal with 5 Cloaked Wraiths, I think. Another. Is that the same command team? This is the important target, the machine shop. I wonder, like, if in any CPL or program, someone has taken advantage of the fact that you can steal someone else's add-ons. Like, if maybe next time flew a starport in and landed it here, he would steal this control tower. Has anyone ever done that, like, in a real game? Anyway, Azrael does tap out as their push is repelled, and maybe next time wins their first CPL game on stream. Alright, we're going to get into the next game. Now we have Azrael against Myriad Colors. Protoss from the 2 games ago. All right, in the top right. Having a rough time being contained last game. Top right. In the bottom right, it's the Black Terran Azrael. And in the bottom left, the White Protoss, Myriad Colors, who in fact has changed colors in both games, which, you know, is appropriate for their name. So we've seen a couple of PPTs with, I'm going to say, slightly unorthodox builds from the Protoss, and one of them was Myriad Colors with the 1 base Speed Zealot build, 1 base Macro Speed Zealot called, because there is a 1 base Speed Zealot cheese, which is not what we saw. I think this map is pretty inoffensive. But I mean, there's some popular maps that I don't like. But like, there's nothing too extreme about this map. Like the weirdest thing is the high ground third that's mineral only. But it's really not that unusual. Everything else is pretty bland. Yeah, bland, sure. I definitely like it more than Fighting Spirit, just because I played so many games with Fighting Spirit. I hate Shakura's. Shakura's pathing is so weird. Like, the layout is fine, but like, just some of the pathing, especially in certain spawns, is really bad. Especially for Protoss for Zerg, like, because it's a wall and it just screws everything up. So definitely hard to disagree for me here on map taste from Myriad Colors, but we're not on Shakura's, we're on Polypoid. And look, another player has gone for the Scout first strat. Not going to find anything too dramatic here. I really want to see if Myriad Colors goes for the same build. Or if we see a more conventional PvT. Scouting probe is going to leave just as that Marine finishes. Ooh. So it's not quite 10-15, but it looks like, I would guess this is going to be 2 Gateway Goon, which is aggressive build you can do as Protoss. I don't know the exact. I feel like. There we go. We do see good. I think we want to see range. I think it's. I'm not sure this is the right like order of things. I don't know what. I don't remember the 2K you can build order. But the thought is there. Now my biggest problem with this build order is that you basically Terran is always going to scout it. Like Terran, you know, did the like Z scout to get it, so it's really late, and they still got here before the first game is even done. So there's basically no way to deny this vision to the Terran, and if the Terran knows how to deal with it, in my experience as a bad player, it's really hard to get damage done with it. Like, yeah, here we go. So Azrael is expanding within their base. They're getting a machine shop, which I'm sure is for tanks. And like, if you have 2 Gateway Goon and Terran has a siege tank on the cliff, they don't care about you. Like, right? Like, they will get that siege mode, they will push you out of their natural, and they will take their base. They'll be a little bit later than they would have liked it, but your expansion will be much later. And I think what you're supposed to do with 2 Gate Goon is, you know, contain the Terran for a while and then get your second and third bases very rapidly together. So we'll see how this works out in this game, but I really like Azrael's reaction. Like, so many Terran players are so greedy. If I can just whine for a little bit, if I ever cast with Neblime, you'll see us have this discussion about how I think Terran players should just wall off, because it's so much safer. But they never want to do it. And I really appreciate that Azrael is not being greedy and like trying to spang down here anyway and then dying to 2K Goon. Myriad Colors is trying his best to get value out of these 3 goons, but somehow the most wounded unit always ends up in front. Isn't that something? And now with killing 2 goons, having siege mode done, having 2 tanks, Azrael feels safe in getting this expansion. And I know there was some weirdness in the build order, but this is why I don't like this build. Do we have a range? I think we might not have range. So that definitely makes a big difference. If you ever see me cast with State Zero, he will stand by 2 Gate Goon. So maybe he can say more knowledgeable things about it. We do have this natural, honestly not like super late, and we do have this probe up here in the top right, which could be used to make a hidden base. Okay, we just have range done. Yeah, so that is probably the biggest problem with this build that we've seen from Myriad Colors. I know that you definitely get range when you go 2 gates. And goons without range are just not good. They just are not nearly as good as we do range. Especially when we have all these tanks. This looks like a misrallied goon. I definitely know that pain. Let's see what happens here. So we are going up to our second factory as Terran. The Academy is on the map. The main has been scanned. Terran figuring out what other shenanigans this Protoss player has in store. It's looking very similar to what we saw last game from Myriad, just a lot of gateway with some Citadel tech. So something that Azrael scanned made them get the eBay. I'm not sure what. I don't know. Maybe it was just that's just their plan every time. But like, if you're worried about DTs, you have 2 scanners. And like drops aren't. I feel like if you scan a 3rd gateway, you're not gonna worry about drops. There's even a 4th gateway. There we go. We see 2 more factories being added. Wouldn't be surprised if we saw another one soon. I think we're going to see another early push here from this Terran player. I'm not 100% sure. Yes, okay. So, oh no, it's still 4. I just can't count. If you are Terran, and you are against a Protoss who has made a mistake, or has a weird build, or like they've gotten some kind of disadvantage in the game, if you can just hit one of these 4 factory or 5 factory pushes, that you'll have a huge win rate. Because even when things are going right, Protoss needs to hit like all other builds timings in order to deal with a 4 or 5 factory push. So if you have a game like this, where we had an aggressive opening, have some difficulties, and we have these goons unfortunately march to their death, Protoss is going to have such a hard time dealing with these pushes. Now, that does exist in a meta where normally Protoss stays on like 1 or 2 gateways and gets a bunch of tech, which is not quite what Myriad Colors is doing. But even so, this 4 gateways is not going to be enough to rebuild this army fast enough. When you deal with these pushes as a Protoss, like the rule that I go by at least is you need 1.5 gateways for each factory. And 4 factories for 4 gateways, the math doesn't quite work out on that one. You need that, or you need some kind of big tech advantage, like DTs into Arbiter, or like a Reaver, or something like that, some kind of X factor. Like Speed Zealots, I don't think in this scenario is going to do it. Like Speed Zealots are only good when you have like 12 of them in this matchup. Having like 4 is not going to cut it. But we'll see here. We have more goods coming out. This high ground is one of the ways. I mean, this is one of the unique features of this map. In this matchup, like sometimes early pushes from Terran can lose fights that they should have won if the Protoss takes advantage of the high ground here. But I don't think this is quite it. This is just really brutal for Protoss trying to rebuild their army. Although Terran is okay, you know what? I was talking about a 4 or 5 factory push, and Terran is not doing that. Terran is just getting a command center. I feel like they could win the game if they pushed across. But I said it before, you can't really blame someone for just playing the safe and economic way. I mean, I have certainly lost games where I thought I was winning at the other game, and then I attacked prematurely and threw the game. I don't think that would happen here, but Azrael doesn't have map hack all the time, only when the scan is on, so I can't really fault him for that. There was a probe up here that I thought was going to make a hidden base. It did not do that. I don't know what happened here. We have an SCV hanging out. We do have a 3rd base coming up for Myriad Colors. But you really want your 3rd base to be ahead of the turn. Alright, get more factories. Starport is done. Should see the science facility soon. Get that 2nd armory, get the +1+, or get the both upgrades. Look, we have +1 attack already, right? Soldiers could be a little bit more active. I mean, they could be going up here, killing the probe, putting mines, probably not killing the Nexus, but taking off the shields and wasting a lot of time, which is really annoying, let me tell you. Let's see, we have some scans. Looks like, yeah, Azrael has scanned this base. there's no probes or defenses yet. I mean, these vultures could get in there. Probes do make it unopposed. The Protoss army is being rebuilt. Slowly, being behind on supply is a very scary position, but there we go. We have a ton of gateways. This is what you do when you have too much money. Just make way more gateways. Here we go. The vultures are moving to threaten this base. No units there yet. No pylon wall. I don't know what's going on in the top right, but these vultures are going to put a stop to it. Oh, come on. Don't do this to me. It gets so close. Okay. Here we go. These probes are going to have to back off. And even then, most of them are going to go down. Here we go. Very nice. Mines at the top of the ramp. Means that any defense from Myriad Colors is going to have a hard time, especially without an observer with these goons. Oh no. Oh no, the arc. Well, okay, so only 2 goons died. Of course, the real story is all the probes that died, which is really going to set Protoss back. But the base is not destroyed completely. Our gateway units going out of here. But, I mean, the real story is that Terran is just sitting comfortably on 3 bases, has a lot of tanks, like 20 tanks. And Plus 2 attack is on the way. We're getting a vessel to deal with any hypothetical arbiters that might exist. Have those speed zealots, just that they need the numbers, and I don't think we're going to reach those numbers in this game. Even a 4th command center done, waiting to be flown to a base here. Azrael learning something from his opponent in that TPT we saw earlier, you know, doing a good job covering potential expansions, getting map control, making sure they aren't secretly mining against you or something like that. Oh, and I think with all these tanks being on siege, surely we're about to see some kind of move out here. Yeah, and we're about to hit max, so I think we are going to see the very large amount of tanks go threaten Protoss, or, you know, Protoss could come out to greet them. Oh no, and the tanks are all going to siege up right as you can see here. They just get deleted. A big oof. The rest of the Protoss army is here, but this tank is such a huge arc of tanks. The D matrix on this tank as if it needs it. And what's left here for Protoss is going to be cleared out by unsieged tanks. You have a lot of units at home. Just there's too many tanks with plus 2 attack. With 4 bases for Terran. Beginning to saturate that last one. Yeah, Terran is in a really good position in this game. These Dragoons are fighting valiantly, but Terran's over you, man. And there you go, Myriad Colors does tamp out. And I think we have 1 game left. Let me tell you, I am exhausted and I'm out of time again. I have to put more quarters in the game. It's been a while since I casted. And it's like extra exhausting to do by yourself. So I am probably going to go to bed shortly after finishing this next game. For our last game, we have another PVT. Myriad, oh, someone race picked. Okay, so we have Myriad Colors versus Maybe Next Time, both of which have been Protoss players. But some people, for some reason, like to dodge the mirror matchups and pick a different race. So maybe next time, pick Terran. So we got a bit of a interesting thing there. There's a bug with the lobby name, so I can't create it. That's cool. Alright, here we go. Gonna get into the last game of the night. In the bottom left, we have Myriad Colors 2 in the olive. Again, you know what? I appreciate the commitment to the name. We have players who are have blue in their name and they don't always pick blue. Things like that. You know, if you're going to be named Myriad Colors, be a bunch of different colors. Anyway, maybe next time. Last time he was Protoss, this time he's Terran. That's interesting. I don't know. I guess I assume Protoss was their main race. Maybe Terran's their main race and they picked Protoss against Terran. I think it would make more sense to picking Terran against Protoss. So we've seen maybe next time PvT a few times with some unusual builds. We have not seen, or we've seen Myriad Colors. We've seen their PvT. We have not seen maybe next time's TVP. This is a very early SCV going out. I think. Well, hold on a minute. I don't think this is a proxy, because if you're doing proxy this turn, you go barracks, supply depot. So this is just a very early scout. I would say too early. Scouting before the barracks even starts. I don't know what you're looking for. Proxy gateways in the middle, but we didn't even check the middle. Nexus first, I guess. I don't know. I don't think you want to scout this early. I think it's a mistake. It kind of seems like Myriad Colors did the same thing. So I guess both players really worried about cheese or something this game. Looks like we'll see something with the factory on, with the factory before we see the expansion. Oh no. Okay, it was fixed. All right, they're gonna mine gas eventually. A few games ago, we saw somebody somebody have a real problem with probes getting the gas. I'm glad to see we won't see that this time. Both players are gonna scout each other last, but this rarely things that happen in this window of the game where they scout that early. We're gonna see an expansion before Goon. Very ambitious. my mic hasn't been loose for too long. I think it might have been loose. Anyway, what I've been trying to say is that this 2-factory is going to be really hard to deal with. And Being Right Colors needs to see it coming and needs to build more gateways. We do have a gateway here. The very early expansion from Being Right Colors is done, and the probes are being transferred. Getting constant Dragoon production. This is a good move. If you see nothing here, as per us, you should be worried. If you see Marines in a tank, it's either 2-factory or the FD push. Either way, you have to be on alert. And this Dragoon should not be running all the way home. It should stay like here or here, just to scout when the turret moves out. I think we're going to move out with 2 tanks, it looks like. Because usually you build tanks until you decide to move out, and then you reinforce with vultures. Alright, this is nice. Keeping these goons on the high ground isn't even more vision, but if you don't react quickly, they will get picked off, which is very unfortunate. Range is not quite done yet. And that is going to make this defense basically impossible. It would be some heroic micro. And now, of all games, Being Right Colors picks this one to get the robo on time. It's funny. I mean, the observers can't help you with this, especially if the Terran gets mines, but I don't think it's going to be a deciding factor here. I think the fact that there's 3 Dragoons just means that they're going to get picked off. Yep, mines are in the Protoss Natural, and the 2-factory push claims another victim. And that is the last game for the night. So, if you're still around, thank you for watching the whole thing. I am going to try to make this a weekly thing, at least. Aiming for Thursdays at this time. So if you like that, go ahead and give me a follow. I'm definitely going to try to get co-casters. I think it's a lot more interesting when there's 2 people talking. And with that, I'm going to close it out. So thank you for watching, everybody.